Warning. This is a show where we talk about our favorite characters and media, so this may be full of spoilers throughout the entire episode. We apologize if that's not quite your thing, but we do hope that you enjoy anyway.
Hello.
Here we go. One with me.
Hello and welcome to Powered Casual Presents 5-Hit List. This week we're doing animated series, which is gonna be great. So to clarify, and it's called animated series, very specifically because we decided that we didn't want to include anime in this particular episode. We all know we could rank our top 5 anime, no problem, without question. So we were just like, when we decided to do animated series, we're just like, well, the list would just mostly be anime, with a couple of Western cartoons sprinkled in. So we decided to narrow our focus a little bit for a change. So
For a change.
for one change, one whole change,
We get a change. One of them.
just one. So tonight, let's introduce. We have a slightly changed cast this time. Sean was off camping, so he busy. So instead, we filled the roster with some other people, and everybody's in a slightly different order. So we'll just go around my call here. So hi, I'm Ian. I'm hosting. I'm the only one who's talked so far, so we can move on from that. Next to me on this side, we have Ark.
Hey. I'm here to have opinions about cartoons.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am.
Below Ark, we have Brian.
What?
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going
Yes,
around
it
my
is
call.
me.
I don't know what order it is on your side.
Yeah.
But so this is what happens when my opinion is the opinion that actually matters. And last but not least, below me, next to Brian, we have Mel.
Hello.
Itamal.
Again.
Again.
This
Yeah.
is Beans.
Look at him go.
To sleep
Beans.
now.
Albino.
So
I was just being
Aww.
flop.
I suppressed him.
Little
Sorry.
guy. So little.
Cats make everything better.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, it's just gonna.
Good little
I thought he was
scratch.
just gonna do the full
He's going away
turn,
now.
full turn, and
Yeah.
lick his butt, just right to the camera.
He would.
Oh yeah, cats do that all constantly. All right, so animated series. Let's do that. I do have one change to the format this week because the master list thing was a little bit weird and we couldn't always do it. So we decided, because we're always making these predictions about who's gonna pick what and who's gonna react to what. Mel just turned green. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Not to me.
Yeah, Zoom's being weird. There's literally nothing we can do about it.
Oh, wait. It happened to you.
Yeah, see? Yeah. But yeah. So what in the down in the corner there, you can see we have a prediction score. So we're just gonna rack up, see how many people get how many predictions correct. How many come true, how well we know each other as we go along. Obviously, they're not going to be the same predictions, just because we've never been on the same page on that, but that's okay.
Not with that attitude.
So, well, who do we want to start with this week? Because usually we start with our guest, but this week we have sort of two guests.
Oops, all guests.
Mark can go first.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah, you will.
There we go. There. Not green anymore.
You did it.
All right. So, Ark.
5, right?
Yep. Start with
Going
5.
with number 5. All right, my number 5 was I don't even remember, and I just set these images up a minute ago.
Mhm.
We're off to a great start.
Yep.
We're off to a great start. It's like, this is how much I love these series. I forgot what they're called. I forgot which ones they are. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Uh-huh.
For the longest time, like I think I watched the entire series before I realized the name of the show was not She-Ra and the Princess of Power. Like, so I was like, "Where's the Princess of Power? Who is the Princess of Power?" It's all of them. They're all princesses of power. Turns out that's how that is. But anyway, yeah, I very much enjoyed the show. And I've watched it through quite a few times now. And it's a good example of some of the great stuff that's happening in animation nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sweet. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you gotta watch it. There are so many characters that I'm just like in love with. I've realized like that's a whole thing. The characters are all very good, and the story's good, and it's solid stuff.
Yeah, even the villains are so good.
Mhm.
Very well done. And I didn't even like love what is the nerdy like geeky princess?
Oh.
But like she really grew on
Entrapta.
me.
Oh,
Yeah, she grew on me after a
Entrapta.
while.
She's one of my favorites by the end of the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
the
kept telling her-
scorpion one.
Oh,
Scorpia.
So
I love
good,
her so
yeah.
much.
Scorpia OP. Oh yeah. Like there's really nothing to not like about Scorpia.
Yeah, she's excellent.
Brian,
it's
you gotta
really-
watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just really one of those good stories that's like, it's like the perspective that puts you on a side, and like the bad, quote unquote bad, like characters, or it's just because that's literally all they know. So
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, they did a good job not only setting up individual character motivations, but also like faction motivations. Like this is where the ideology comes from, kind of thing.
Yeah, they do a good job of explaining like why things are the way they are. Like in a global sense. Even though the whole planet's like made of magic and shit.
It's made out of magic.
Magic Planet.
So,
Cool.
all right. So that brings us on to Brian. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Doug.
Classic.
This is a show
Okay.
that every year they would do Nicktoons marathon days during Thanksgiving break, and I would always watch the Doug marathon. Came out at the same time that I was in middle school, so it was very relatable to me. All the little daydreams he has, like imagining that you're going to be like the hero of the day, and then real life is not like that. I thought that was a really good message and relatable message. So, and banging on a trash can is still freaking catchy as hell.
I am surprised. Like, granted, like I'm not surprised that. All right, I'm surprised that someone chose Doug. To be really honest, because I mean, I like Doug, but it was one of those shows that when you stacked it up against the rest of the Nicktoons of that era, it really was just off by its own, being a slice of life TV show. Whereas you had like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life just being, goofy and gross. And then Rugrats was off in another corner, sort of being slice of life, but not like really slice of life. But
Doug was great, Ian.
Doug was great. I watched every episode of Doug. I watched some of like the weird Doug in High School sequel that they did on ABC.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really watch any of that.
That one wasn't as good. The OG
Okay.
Doug was better.
Yeah, so there was the Disney series. Was that the high school thing? Or I thought that they
Yeah.
tried to do like OG Doug for a while. but it was
I don't know.
different.
Yeah.
By
it
the end of the
was-
series, he graduates from middle school.
Yeah.
So it'd be pretty tricky for them to do. But I don't know. They might have.
Maybe, yeah. Huh?
I know on ABC was the high school one,
Mhm.
Okay.
which is owned by Disney. But
Yeah, because I remember when it changed over, and I think it was a combination of me kind of aging out of the show, I think, and the show being different and me not liking that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
it was one or the other.
sounds about right. Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like that the high school one came out a few years after people who were the right age to watch Doug were now too old to watch Doug.
Yeah.
So
I think they were trying to engage a new generation with that, but it just made all the old schoolers go, "What is this?
Yep.
Well, yeah, and
You're not my show."
yeah, it's a little confusing to engage a new audience that is younger when the show is now about an older character that they didn't watch because maybe they didn't
Mhm.
have Nickelodeon. Because that was also that was
Yeah.
back when you had to have cable to watch.
right.
So
Well, I don't know. It's not that unusual to make media featuring high school kids that's actually aimed at a younger group.
I think
Mm.
it's weird.
You're weird.
Yes, that's true.
These are the cool
I-
kids you could grow up
No,
to
I
be.
mean, I thought Doug wasn't going to be on the list at all. So yes, obviously I'm a little weird.
Yeah,
But I'm
Doug's
not.
a great show.
But I'm not disappointed. Like I'm a little disappointed in myself at this point.
I can say that I used to watch Doug like every day after school. It was like the
Mhm.
first thing I would check is to see what's on that channel.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
Yep.
that was usually it.
Yeah, it was one of those silent shows that I couldn't like change the channel from. Like if I was flicking through the channels and Doug was on, I was like, oh, this is what we're watching.
Here we are.
No,
Yeah.
no matter
yeah.
what.
Yeah, for me,
So,
that was Rocco. Like, if we had to pick a favorite Nicktoon right now, Rocco's Modern Life. But that's me.
the Nicktoons were real good.
Twir.
All right, so Mel,
Mel.
number 5.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Nickelodeon, technically, my number 5 is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nice.
Ding! That's a prediction for me.
I love this show. I didn't give it a shot when it was like still airing. The only reason I ended up watching it was I binge watched it while recovering from a surgery, and couldn't stop. I like basically was bedridden, which was perfect for watching the show. And I was blown away because I would see it on all the time and like felt like it was impossible to join in when I didn't know what was going on when like as a kid or when I was younger. So watching it like all the way through was really nice. But yeah, a really excellent show. One of my favorite like villain arcs for Azula in particular. And just really good characters, really good story.
Show us your tattoo.
You gotta be
Uh,
more
no.
specific.
I do have an Avatar tattoo on my leg, so I'm not gonna show.
Do a handstand so you can see it.
Okay. Nope.
Yeah, so I debated putting this one. I had a hard time not putting it on my list. I didn't put it on my list because there just wasn't room. But I feel guilty about it, and I'll go to the grave guilty about that. But yeah, it's a very good show. It is one of those things. Yeah, I didn't give it a chance because I was just like, it wants to be anime. It can't be anime. I'm too cool. And I just never got into it. And I think another thing too is that I wasn't in the age group that they were actively trying to advertise it to. So I was just like, yeah, no, I'm above this for so many cool dude reasons. And then
And then
in like college,
Yeah.
it was just like, let's watch this thing. It was on a streaming platform. I think it was Amazon or whatever.
and we
We
were
were like, oh
wrong.
crap, this is good.
We were so wrong.
Such a good series.
Like,
I'm adding a prediction.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. This is how we know.
Your prediction
Yeah.
is that Avatar will not be on my list, isn't it?
No. I think the predictions can only be really what will be on the list. Because otherwise you
Okay.
can earn like 1,000,000 points just guessing what's not on
That's
it.
true. That's true. But no, like Avatar, one of the big things for me was like it does such great character-driven storytelling. Like the characters are why you keep watching the show. Like the kung fu fighting styles and martial arts that they display across all the cultures is great. The lore is super deep and really cool. But like, if I didn't care about Toph, I might not watch. However,
Toph is best pony.
Toph is best pony. Like they even made their their recap clip show really clever. Like the episode with the play, like where they just summarize Aang's journey, and everyone hates the play except Toph.
Yeah. Well, everyone hates who they're
He's
cast
blind.
by.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's like
Aang's
Aang
upset
is
he's
like
a girl.
a young girl, and like, was it Zuko is so mad? His
Yeah,
character's like,
he's super
oh, the
angsty.
scar's on the wrong side, and he's like super emo.
Yeah, Katara's just like weepy and overacting the whole time. Sokka's an idiot. But then
But I mean, that's not wrong.
it's not. Well, that's the thing. None of it's wrong.
A different kind of idiot.
It's a different
That's not
kind.
our idiot.
But
That's a
then-
different idiot.
Toph shows up just being like a 7-foot tall muscle beast man, and she's like, "They cast me perfectly."
It makes like it makes the most amazing face too. It's just like, oh, this is great. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. And one thing I thought Avatar did better than Korra, and I know some people say Korra is better, but I think there's like the long overarching story in Avatar, and then there are the books that are like separate, and
Yeah.
there's still an arc within those books. And Korra, I
Mm.
feel like it just does like
It's
like
the villain of
every-
the day. Yeah.
yeah, every season is its own story, and it doesn't really connect as much to the next one, and it didn't feel like the writing was as like thought out, because maybe they didn't know how long it was going to last.
That was Korra's
Um,
problem. They didn't know.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like they'd forgotten what they did with Avatar, the first one, and they're just like, "All right, well, let's just put it."
wanted money.
They did, but then they were just like, the third season they stopped broadcasting it and just put it online only, like, and made it hard to watch. On top of that, like
Well,
it was
yeah, and I
physically
think-
difficult to find on the Nickelodeon website.
I think it was online only, but it was also locked behind a cable subscription still. So it was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can stream it, I guess.
Why isn't anyone watching our show?
Right? Yeah.
And
No, the show's underperforming. We'll have to not run it anymore.
yeah, but no, Avatar's a great choice. It's a real solid choice.
Very good.
And oh wait,
Yeah.
I can't believe we managed to almost have a conversation about Avatar without mentioning Iroh.
Oh, yeah.
Iroh.
Need we say more?
Best.
One of the best mentor characters.
Oh, period. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like definitely one of the best written characters in the entire show, and yeah.
It took me so long. This is not even that related. I didn't know that Zuko's character was voiced by Rufio from Hook.
Yep.
It took me so
Bosco.
long to learn that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing where he pops up.
Yeah. Well, then he does like
Rufio.
a Korra voice as like a descendant of.
Yeah, he
Zuko,
voices
right?
yeah he
It's so
voices a
weird.
character named Mako.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry.
No.
No. He voices a character named Iroh,
Oh, that's right.
who is like Zuko's son.
Yeah.
Grandson?
It's either nephew,
Your grandson,
grandson.
I think. Or, yeah,
They're
something
very
like that.
closely related. Like
Yeah.
they're within a generation or two related. Because Zuko's still alive in Korra. So yeah.
Yeah, that was so jarring to me. I think part of it is because I associated that voice with a different character in the Avatar universe who's still alive.
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem to fit the character at all. Like I was always just upset whenever that character
Yeah.
was on screen. I was like, how that voice doesn't come out of that face.
And
That
I-
voice comes out of a different face.
And I think they did it because, when they show up, when you see Zuko, Fire Lord Zuko, at that point, he's in his like 80s. He's an old man. And I don't think they're like, Dante Bosco can't voice an old man. I don't know if he can do that. Even when he's old, I don't know if he'll be able to voice an old man. It just won't fit.
Yeah.
It'll still sound like Rufio from Hook.
Right.
Sound like he's still 16.
It's that time in Neverland. It does that.
Does.
He never aged.
Less.
All right.
All right.
Pushing forward. Ian, number 5.
Number 5. So Ark and I were talking a little bit beforehand about how old our choices were going to be cumulatively, because inevitably
Old we are.
you're going to pick like stuff that's newer, stuff you've experienced more recently because it's fresher. I decided for at least one of my picks to go deep, go real deep, go into the old ways. So I chose about one of the oldest ways you could. I chose, once I found the
Popeye.
button, close, Merry Melodies, aka Looney Tunes.
Oh, is that based on Space Jam?
Well, no, well that's the thing. Like, among other things, like not only was this one of the first like serialized cartoon shows for broadcast TV, this kind of set that tone for a good long time, and the fact that all of those characters are still around in some way, and the fact that it gave us Space Jam.
It's a long road.
But yeah, I remember like this was the thing where like I remember the question came up when we were kids, not when our grandparents were kids, when this stuff first aired, or when our parents were kids, and some of our grandparents. Like, are cartoons too violent? You know, and people automatically quoted like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote and Elmer Fudd getting his face shot every other episode. It's like, okay, so you want to question the morality in the educational purpose of a 40-year-old cartoon show that everyone is still watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they question that?
Why wouldn't they question that? What's not to question?
You mean the other kids didn't constantly run off cliffs? It was just me.
And buy like stock in
Buy
the
explosives
yeah.
over the internet
yeah,
before the internet was a thing. A mail order.
buy stock in the Acme company so they ship you TNT in bulk.
Yeah.
Yep.
That shipping
mean-
was fast too. That predicted Amazon stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they'll literally ship anywhere, like the middle of a desert.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll get it to you.
And very fast too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very quick service. Good delivery workers. Hope they
Yeah,
got
I-
paid well.
Hmm?
I hope they got
Roadrunner
paid
and-
well. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. The hazard pay. They should have gotten the hazard pay. 'Cause they were moving hazardous things were really fast.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons, those were favorites of my dad and I when I was a kid.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Like, it's one of the few multi-generational cartoon shows out there. Because it's still funny. Like, you show like a little kid nowadays, you show them the like any of the Roadrunner cartoons or Daffy Duck, and like they'll get it. They'll laugh. It'll be great.
Mm.
Slapstick classic.
They actually
I also
no good. Do it.
I was gonna say, I also wanted to like give a shout out to them because from a music educator perspective, I mean, the whole purpose of it was to try and sell music that Warner Brothers owned and try and sell their soundtracks.
Mhm.
But it also introduced so much like classic music to kids.
Mhm.
They don't even realize it, but like the Ride of the Valkyries and
Mhm.
like the whole. I mean, how do you make a 9 or like a 9 opera like cycle of music accessible to kids?
Bugs
You
Bunny.
get Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd running around
Yep.
trying to kill each other.
Bugs Bunny in
Oh, yeah.
drag.
And yeah, in drag. And as
Go
a,
to Wabbit.
yeah, and as a result, yeah, we all know Flight of the Valkyries because of killed a wabbit, killed a wabbit. You know, it's like,
Mhm.
it's just burned in there.
Killed a wabbit.
Then you grow up, you watch Apocalypse Now, and you're like, wait a minute. Bugs Bunny did this one.
I'm imagining a bald man in a gold trash can.
It was always funny,
no.
like learning that those songs were, they were actual classical pieces, and they had names, and they're like just later in life running into one of those songs and be like, oh, I see, I know this one because of the cartoon.
Hmm.
It's like learning what public domain means. For me.
Yeah.
Because it's like the only music they could use, maybe.
Yeah, some of it.
Yep.
Some of it was stuff that, Warner Brothers had bought. Somehow the rights were still purchasable,
Yeah.
and they bought them. Other stuff was stuff that's like, but we own this one now because we got an orchestra together, and now this is the performance. So yeah, there are some there. They probably got some copyrights off of the score for a Roadrunner cartoon.
Hmm.
And I don't know. Like,
Well, I
that's,
think
that's my favorite.
They owned a lot of music, and they were just trying to incorporate it to get people to want to buy it. Like, so that episode Duck Amuck,
Hmm.
where like the animators keep like redrawing everything around Daffy Duck. He keeps singing different songs, and those are all like Warner Brothers copyrighted songs at the time. So it was all strategy while also making it really funny.
Oh yeah. Daffy Duck, though, like, that poor guy, man.
He's my favorite. I always like the angry duck characters from Disney and Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah.
They always get like shit on the whole time,
Me
but
too.
I just love them.
There's that scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit where they're playing the piano together. And when I was a kid at the time, I didn't realize what an incredible mashup this was.
Mhm.
But now it's just like, oh, that's a universe collision. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
It may never happen again because
Why
not?
they're both really stubborn about their licenses now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so number 4,
Number 4.
I guess we're bumping up to me to lead off 4, right?
Indeed.
So it's another Nicktoon. My number 4 is Rocko's Modern Life.
Nice. Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
So, yeah, I didn't want to say anything while Ian was ranting about how Doug sucks and Rocco's better, but
Did not say that.
this show, it was another slice of life, but it was definitely way wackier.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is how I learned about adulthood.
You
And
learn
I
a
still
lot of
relate-
adult things
Yeah.
from Rocco.
I still relate to a lot of it. Like there's the episode where he was sick. I think about that episode every time I'm sick.
Hmm.
Anytime I can't find a sock, I think of the laundry episode. Anytime I'm like running out of groceries, I think about the episode where everything was like 99% off at the local grocery store. Yeah. It's a really good show.
It is. One of my favorite things, like, I rewatched part of it recently, and the first episode he loses his job and he goes through a bunch of jobs. One of the jobs he gets, and I didn't get this joke when I was a kid, is a 900 number.
Yeah.
For those
He's
of
a
you
sex-
for those of you who
sex
don't
hotline.
Yeah, it's a sex hotline. For those of you who don't remember what phone sex was, that used to be a big business. So, and it's just like, it was just funny as a kid because, like, he's on the phone at this company and it's Mrs. Bighead, his neighbor, on the other line, and that was where the joke ended for 10-year-old
Yeah.
me. And then now
But
watching
he's like,
it,
oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
yeah, like, I go back now and I'm just like, oh my god, I watched this as a kid. This
Yeah, it's
is
kind of
great.
messed up.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
super messed up. Like, I understand now why there were parents who wouldn't let their children watch Nickelodeon. It wasn't because of Doug. It was because of Rocco.
And Ren and Stimpy.
And Ren and Stimpy, one of my
Yeah.
other big faves. But no, just Heifer. My God, the Heifer character's great. Filbert.
All of the dark humor around Heifer, like being a cow raised by wolves, and that was.
That's right.
Yeah, there's the episode where he like finally comes to terms with the fact that he's not a wolf.
Yeah.
and he's like goes around, he's at dinner and he's like, Heifer, is that even my real name? And his foster brother is like, Dad used to call you Steak.
Yeah.
Like,
I really like that they always incorporate like the actual animals into the character quite a bit.
yeah,
Like
in weird ways.
at one point, they Heifer saves Rocco out of a financial hole by selling one of his stomachs.
Because
Yeah.
he's got spares.
Yeah, such a weird show.
Yeah,
I
like
think about
all
that show when I cut my nails too short and they try to tell Rocco he's got a problem and he tries to prove it and he can't pick up a dime.
yeah, and they're just
Like, you need
at
to stop.
they're just at a diner or whatever, right? And they're just like, here, pick up this dime.
Yeah.
There were a
I
lot
actually
of weird.
earlier this
background
week
things.
Oh, sorry. Go.
It's okay. Like a lot of the weird background things you mentioned, like them incorporating their animal characteristics. All of the lizard people, all the people who are supposed to be like geckos or something. Anytime you see one of them walking around in the background, they're not walking. They're like doing that low lizard crawl,
Oh yeah.
sort of.
Hmm.
They're like
Yeah.
the only people who walk around on all fours are the lizards. It makes no sense.
I was gonna say I rewatched the episode where Heifer goes to heck, and
That episode was messed up.
it is messed up. I mean, he almost swallows Rocco, but like the guy Peaches, who's basically the devil, is like pointing at him and saying like, "You're a glutton, a glutton." And then a sign appears next to him that says glutton. And he goes, gluten. For some reason, that is one of like the most remembered things from like any cartoon ever for me.
I also what's also neat about this, so they did that throwback special movie thingy on Netflix and it was really good. Like
Mhm.
I was worried that it would just be like a weird shoddily thrown together thing for nostalgia reasons, but it was actually really good and the people behind the show had a story that I wanted to tell with it and it was excellent.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
Especially because that story is Rocco says trans rights.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good.
I mean, it's about modern life. So yeah, they made it modern. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. yeah, so that series was a favorite of mine too. Yeah, if it was on
Yeah.
the TV, I was parked there. And it was
Yeah,
one
good
that
choice.
yeah. It was
Oh,
one that
and this-
disturbed my parents on so many levels too, but
Yeah, it's a weird show. Like, isn't he like in love with a dentist who has a hook for a hand or something like that?
Filbert is. Yeah.
yes.
Filbert, that's
Filbert
right.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never actually see like Rocco's crushes leg. It was one
Right,
of those.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I'm like cycling in my memory like every episode, like the Jackhammer Olympics, the one where he tries to go to the beach, but there's no parking, and he winds up just parking at his house.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
Remember when
new
he's an
Peach
underwear
episode, too,
model?
isn't there? That's-
Yeah,
yep.
there
Then the couch chases after him. It's like, sit on me.
there are two moments in particular that I'll always remember. One of them is the beach episode. And yeah, there's a significant amount of nudity in that, and that's the joke. They have censor bars over everything. That's the joke. But there's a moment where like Rocco comes up out of the water. I think he got like chucked into the water by the hippo lady.
How
for
dare
reasons.
you?
So dare you.
Exactly. And he comes back up out of the water, and he has in his swim trunks over his butt, he has like a buoy back there. And for whatever reason, there's just a walrus with a pipe that leans in off screen and is like, "Boy, you have a buoy in your pants." And that's one of those ones that always just friggin' stuck with me. Just that shot, that quote. And the other, which I have actually taken to heart as a life lesson, was the episode where Filbert is going through puberty as a 30-something-year-old turtle. And Heifer makes a cake for him and just starts pouring gallons and gallons and gallons of teriyaki sauce on this cake. And that, like, Rocco, I think it's like, "Heifer, is that too much sauce?" And Heifer then just looks and says, like, "Never underestimate the power of teriyaki sauce."
It's true.
And there was like
Powerful.
a good year after I learned how to cook for myself where I just put teriyaki sauce on everything.
I remember for a while, like the first few episodes, like one of the last lines Rocco would say would be, "Blank day is a very dangerous day."
Yes.
Like no matter
Yeah.
what was going on, is like every day is a dangerous day.
But he'd
That's
always
like-
say it very like shockingly. He's like, "It's a very dangerous day."
Yeah,
Like he learned his
Laundry day.
lesson.
it's a very dangerous day.
Huh.
Man, maybe it's just made like people super anxious and never want to leave their house.
Maybe.
That explains a lot of things.
It does. Explains a lot of things about me.
Let's all get the recycle song stuck in our heads.
No.
You got it. It's already done. It's
No.
done. We didn't even need to hum a bar.
Nope.
It's in there.
Nope. Yeah, they had a musical episode back before that was cool.
Hmm. Good show.
Good
All right,
show.
moving forward.
Yeah, good
Mel,
choice.
number 4.
My number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel bad that this is even as low as 4, but there are just too many good things. So my number 4 is Steven Universe.
Ding.
Which, looking at my computer now, I have a Steven Universe wallpaper on my desktop. I use it for great backgrounds. I mean, visually, Steven Universe is so good anyway. But the story was also, it's just another one of those things where I didn't get on the bandwagon fast enough, and now I'm like, I should have joined in back when everyone was saying I should have, because it's so good, so good.
It's a show that never grabbed me personally. I blame
That's because you have no soul.
I blame Tom. Like most of my problems in life, I blame our good friend Tom. Because he loves the show, like especially the music, which the music is really good. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like, are you ever gonna stop talking about this show? The answer is no, because the show is really damn good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's got a really dry sense of humor.
Mhm.
I have not seen all of it because I lost my access to the means to watch it because it was on like Hulu exclusively for a while, and
It's bounced around a lot.
yeah, it is really good.
Yeah.
Who's
I
your
have to-
favorite gem?
Hard choice.
Loaded question.
Loaded question.
Can it be a fusion?
Well, yeah,
I
it
would,
has to
I would,
be,
yeah,
guess.
I would say so. Yeah. Turns out they're in the show since day one.
Yep.
Divani.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Too good.
I want to pick Greg, but he's not a gem.
I mean, sort of.
He's a
Right.
gem. He's a gem of a man, but he's not a.
No.
Gem.
I mean, like you got options. You
I
got-
do. No, there's so many good ones. That's part of the problem.
You didn't watch the movie with me.
Oh,
No, I did.
called out.
I did.
Yeah. So you can have I don't want to do super spoilers.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You
don't
can't.
spoil.
You can have what you want. Well, there is a spoiler disclaimer. Hey, disclaimer, spoilers. Yeah, Ian runs a thing before the show, but
do.
if you're just tuning in, yeah, you should watch the movie again, I guess, Ian, and see that your favorite character does exist and sings a duet with Amy Mann.
Right. Okay. I remember now. Okay.
There you go. You have everything you could possibly want.
Okay.
Best show ever.
Okay. I mean, I also want to pick like is it Lars goes through a Captain Harlock phase again, not a gem, but any Captain Harlock reference I'm here for, and yeah, this was the last show I expected to see one in, and it
Yeah.
delivered.
These days, that's kind of an obscure reference.
Yeah.
It is. But yeah,
Yeah.
him on a bridge with the coat and the scar, and it's just like, oh yeah, I love it. See what they did there.
My favorite gem's probably Garnet. I mean,
Good choice.
when she tries to take the phone call and pretend to be Steven's parent, like I panicked. Like that.
So good.
That's
Yeah,
still
Garnet-
probably my favorite moment in the show.
Yeah, Garnet's sense of humor is so good. Like it's just
Yeah.
a bunch of very understated but very, very funny moments.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that she's just so awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so great.
It's like that's why she's quiet. She's quiet because she's awkward, not because she's like that serious. She just doesn't
Yeah.
know what to say.
Yeah.
But she doesn't get hung up over it. She just rolls with it.
Just like
Yeah.
Very strong, awkward person. I love it.
Yeah. She's great. What about you, Ark? What's your favorite?
Favorite. I like Jasper a lot. I think that a lot of that's just kind of like that's not really pity. It's just Jasper's badass. Of the core gems, I like Amethyst because Amethyst can
choice.
just turn into things, and that's cool. And her personality's great.
Yeah, she immediately made me think of Rainbow Dash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like similar voice, similar attitude. Like
Mm.
she likes to nap and eat, even though she doesn't need to do either of those things.
yeah. Just, yeah,
Great.
it's relatable. If I didn't have to do those things, I'd still do them.
yeah, you gotta have a hobby.
Yeah, and she's very deep too. Like I probably, of all of the characters, I probably empathize with Amethyst the most, just because like her struggles of like constantly, she like has a lot of insecurities, and like she tries to hide them by doing other things, or like, yeah, she's just really good. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all good, but
They are all good.
and like her whole backstory, they all have really good backstories.
They
I
do.
think.
Yeah. Even
unique.
Pearl, who I'd say Pearl has the simplest of the backstories, technically, but even her is still really good.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just get
and it's
we
like-
just get to it late.
It's like haunting her clearly, like throughout
Yeah,
like all the series.
Yeah.
yeah. The long game that they play with it is really good. They kind of
Yeah.
keep dropping more and more information about what's going on here.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially with like what pearls usually do and like sort of revealing like as you go along, like learning about what these gems roles are, and hers in particular, and how much you find out like she's defying it, and like you realize how tough she is, like compared to what she was meant to be.
Mhm.
It's good.
It's very good.
I have Giant Woman stuck in my head now.
Giant woman.
It's a good song.
Giant Woman.
Not Cookie
Giant
Cat.
Woman.
I
always-
was
I see that
Go-
Cookie Cat is one of the reasons why I did not hop into the show. Mostly, again, I blame Tom. He used to sing that song at the drop of a hat.
so the funny
constantly.
thing is I was just gonna say that Cookie Cat was the moment I was sold on the show
Yeah.
because the line he left his family behind just in
Yeah.
the middle
It's a
of
good-
this weird like
He left his family
Yeah, it's just-
behind.
yeah, it's just this trite thing, and then suddenly he left his family behind. And I'm like, oh, I'm invested. Tell me more.
Yeah, no, I,
And
I,
then the Cookie Cat.
I like that Steven made up a history for an ice cream cake. Like
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it. But yeah, like
Did he make it up though, or
Yeah,
was it
I
like
always-
or did he read it
advertised
off the
that way?
box?
Yeah, I
It's,
got
like
the impression that
commercialized.
Either
Yeah.
way, I do like it. but it wasn't until like, yeah, I don't know. There,
He left his family behind.
yeah, I will say that crap, I had it. There was a song. There is a song that I have on my regular play on Spotify. On Spotify.
Other friends?
No, Other Friends is up there. That one gets played pretty regularly. No, it's shit. It's one of the ones that Sadie sings. It's,
Oh, yeah, crap.
The pop song?
they do it at a show. You know, like all of Sadie's songs.
Well,
Um,
is it the pop song she was gonna sing and then Steven sings instead and then she sings at the end?
no, it's. I think it's from.
Not that
I think it's in the movie.
Oh.
I want to be disobedient.
Disobedient. That's what it is. Yep. Yeah, Disobedient is gets regular airplay on my phone. Yeah,
Also, Kate Matucci's just good.
she
Like,
is.
She kind of like that voice is just kind of what she does when she's in something, but it's a good voice. Like it's solid.
All right.
Yay. That's
My-
my number 4.
All right, my turn. So my number 4, and y'all can get ready with your predictions. My number 4 for no lead in is Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Ding.
Like, no great surprise. Because I am basically Bob. If Bob had hair, here we are. But no, the thing that I like about it is like a lot of the big sitcom, like family sitcom cartoon shows like Family Guy and Simpsons and things like that, like they either get crude or just ridiculous and there's no possible way that any of the events could ever happen. Like, or or they go into like South Park territory. But like Bob's Burgers walks that fine line of slice of life TV show, but the dumbest stuff keeps happening to this family. But any one of those events could conceivably happen. And there's a lot of stuff going for it in my book. The characters are all great. The amount of representation in the show is also like surprisingly great for a primetime Fox cartoon show. Bob himself, a little bit bi, apparently, if one of the Thanksgiving episodes really rings true. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. so
You're out of my league anyway.
you're out of my league. I'm
It's
married.
like, what am I doing?
I'm straight, kinda. Yeah. So it's, and yeah, like just the kids are ridiculous. Linda is a goddamn treasure. Like there's so much that I love about this show, that it had to make my list.
Yeah, it's so wholesome. Sometimes it's like too real, where like the outcome of something is like too realistic and it's like sad because they like it doesn't turn out in their favor just like in real life and you're like, oh man. But then at the end it's like what what the message is always like, what matters most is that we're still a happy family. Even if like the one where it's like Linda's birthday and she gets like lost on her own and like every bad thing happens to her, but by the end she's like, I want to do this every year. It's so good. Like it like couldn't have been worse for her, but like at the end she was happy.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that really encapsulates a lot of the episodes.
And Bob throughout the whole journey of trying to follow Linda and find her and save her, he even says at one point, it's like, your mother has a whole life I never knew about.
Yeah.
Is that the episode that BM and the PM comes from?
Yes.
Excellent.
She does her BM in the PM. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the song at the end, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and John Roberts just Linda's voice actor is just also a treasure.
Yeah, Jocelyn is so good too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like all the characters that John Roberts does, and I think he does the most out of the Prime cast. Maybe next to H. John
More than
Benjamin, because they have him.
Yeah, I was
they
gonna
have
say.
him do a lot of dumb one-off things where it's very
Yeah, and
clearly
Jimmy
H. John
Jr..
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a good choice.
Yep.
And then you have some characters like Kristen Shaw as Louise. Like they couldn't have her do anyone else.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Like,
her voice is
Be
too
able to tell.
distinctive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Dan Mintz,
Yeah.
Tina, same thing. This is yeah.
Watching that show for the first time was just like such a trip too, because you're like, that's the daughter. She got a dude voice. And like I remember
No,
trying to parse
it's
this
not.
out. Like we were in a we were able to start watching the show because we were in a hotel room for PAX or whatever.
Mhm.
And one of the things we love about hotel rooms is cable and being stuck to a schedule and whatever's on TV, because that's change of pace. So
Mhm.
what was it? It was the Equestronauts episode.
It
It
was.
was on TV, so it was so appropriate. But yeah, we're just like, all right, that's what they did. And now, like years later, after watching the show, like keeping up with the show since then, it's just like, yeah, that's just the character's voice. Like it's just like it's very
Mhm.
good. And one of the things I really like about the series is that it's part of the Fox nighttime block of animation for adults, edgy time, but it's not edgy. Like it's just wholesome and good.
Yeah.
And they realize that you can appeal to a broad audience with that. It's not just mean-spirited and awful. It's a good show.
Yeah, like one of the earliest episodes, the subject matter is considered edgy, but yeah, to pay for Tina's birthday party, Bob becomes a late night taxi driver for his landlord, and basically just becomes a pimp for the various ladies of the night. And like but instead of it being like this awkward, crass thing, he makes friends with all of these various women of the other side of the tracks, and like a few of them come back in the show every once in a while, and it's just like, oh yeah, they're still friends.
Yeah, he makes friends.
Yeah, he makes friends while hooking
Precious
people
sweet
up
Bob.
late at night.
He's a good dude, Bob.
He's a good dude.
Good egg.
He's a good
Yeah.
egg. That's my number 4.
It's a good one.
The Bob.
To
It is a good
Bob.
one. The Bob the Burger.
That's really Bob
so-
Burgers.
It's not my name, Teddy.
Bob Burger.
Is
Yeah.
that really
Bob
what you thought
Burger.
my name was?
Teddy's also great because he's definitely like an anxious kind of dude, but he's a fun character. It's like, yeah, Teddy's here.
Mhm.
Great.
Mhm.
He is hilarious. Like
Their
the
characters have a
episode
lot of
where
depth.
he's handcuffed to the fridge.
Oh god.
The animation on that is ridiculous. Like that's
I
one of
love
those things.
that.
Yeah, like they pulled out the stops to do this very complicated character turn while he was flopping around.
He's just
outside
like,
the
yeah,
fridge.
flopping. So good. And he's
That's
like, okay, I'll just lay here.
Just looking around the kitchen. It's like, that's a dumb place to keep bowls.
Yeah. It like cuts back to him and he's still there. And then when he I remember at the end of that, he's like, they finally come and he's like, look at the card I got you.
You don't want
And
me
then-
to move the fridge off of you?
Yeah. It says Meowie Christmas.
I love Teddy.
So good.
So good.
And
All right, so Arc number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's me.
Is it also Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, it's definitely Bob's Burgers. No, it's not Bob's Burgers. It is Gargoyles.
Mm.
Disney Afternoon.
I figure everybody needs. Like, I went into this and I was like, everyone either needs Gargoyles or Batman. And I haven't seen Batman the animated series really. Like, I saw an episode or two growing up and they were good, but I've seen all of Gargoyles, so that's my pick of the two.
Hmm.
it's yeah, I like that there was a serious effort there to make a cartoon that was a story. And back then that was kind of novel thinking for the cartoon sphere. So
Hmm.
And it had a
Yeah.
hell of a voice cast. It had
David.
Keith David and Ed Asner, Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis from Star Trek Next Generation, back when they were super famous when this show came out.
That was the shit.
Like, it was really ambitious for like Disney.
Yeah.
Even.
like there was in that whole like they had Demona doing bad guy things, but that's because she had feelings about what happened in the past and how to resolve that. And there was this kind of clash of ideologies, and there was a decent amount of like nice thorough thinking behind that, and I'm kind of sad that it just ended.
Hmm. I unfortunately didn't really watch Gargoyles. Usually it was about the time in the Disney afternoon where my attention span was going. So I would usually like get up and go do something else because I get restless.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because it's just like, hey, fun cartoons, and then everything's brown.
Yeah,
Or, like,
everything's serious.
Everything's subdued colors. Everything's camo.
No.
It's serious time. We're gonna talk about some statues.
I do remember when we were watching this. This was also still that era where they had to have very special episodes dealing with social issues. So there was definitely a gun safety episode.
Yeah. One of the who was it? Was it
It's Lexington, the little one,
Lexington finds a gun? The episode.
accidentally shoots their cop friend.
Yep.
Whoa.
Intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show's intense.
Yeah.
Curveballs like that, I appreciate.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah, I didn't
kids.
really watch that show, so I guess I didn't know them.
Yeah,
No.
so
Got
that's also a show that I just kind of caught once in a while when it was on. But like when we got Disney Plus, I was like, I can watch Gargoyles, so I did, and now I know about gun safety.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Lexington.
Yeah. Now, this was a show that I watched at least the first season when it was airing, and then I kind of lost track of it. I didn't realize that it's got like 3 seasons. But yeah, this is definitely the show that set me on the path of my lifelong love of Keith David's voice. Like,
He does have a sultry voice.
oh god, yeah, he does. Like every time I see him pop up in a game or a movie, and he's in a bunch, the man's prolific. I'm just like, yes, Keith's here.
And he was on Community.
He was. I was like, it's the weirdest season, but I was happy he was there.
Yeah.
He's here. I like that they do a little cape thing with their wings.
Mm,
They fold them up and hook them in a way that wouldn't work. But
really wouldn't work.
this is the magic of animation. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, anyway, props to this show for trying to do the thing before the thing was really a thing for cartoons in America.
Sweet.
Nice.
Love it.
All right, are we at number 3s?
We are. So that means
So Mel leading off 3s.
Oh.
Mel.
Okay, so this one I've been yelling about for ever since it came out is City of Ghosts.
Oh, the recent one.
Still haven't had
Yeah.
a chance to watch it.
Hmm.
Got it on my list.
I think it's like only 6 episodes long and it's on Netflix. It is so good. I keep watching it because first of all, I was tearing up in the first episode because it's so cute and sweet, and like it's not about spooky ghosts at all. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, did I click the right image? This is
yeah,
not.
no, it's an all ages. It's an all ages animated series. So it's like sometimes they blend real footage of LA with animation, and like you'll look at the background, you'll be like, wait, that's like a photo background, but the cars have been retraced in a cartoon style type thing, and then the ghosts are actually, I guess, people who were interviewed, and they talk about like their thoughts about like a specific subject, like, oh, this old restaurant that was here, or this skate park. There's a skate park episode, I think it's like the second one. So they're like people who've been living in LA a long time, and they're like reminiscing. So then they turned those interviews into the ghosts that linger in the place that these, like, the ghost squad, which is like a bunch of kids, are investigating. It's really, really cute. And they talk about things like, they mention historical things without, they're just like teaching them like, oh, this is just a thing in history that's happened. So like they talk about Japanese internment camps, but they don't dive into it in a way that's like scary or bad for children to like learn about. It's just like, this is a thing that happened. But here's the story. Like, the story isn't about that. It's just like, that was part of my life. It's really, really good and very cute and funny. Like, there's an episode that makes me laugh every single time I watch it. And some of the designs of the ghosts change. Like, there's one ghost who doesn't end up being like a ghost like the other ones, because it's based on like native cultures. So it's actually a spirit in an animal instead. So they're also being like culturally sensitive. It's so good.
That's cool.
And
That's
I
cool.
want there
Nice.
to be more, but there's no like second season planned yet. Hopefully
Okay.
there will be.
Netflix has been bringing a lot of good stuff to the table too. I don't know how their arrangements work. I don't know if like in some cases they definitely reach out to existing studios somehow for distribution rights or whatever. But
Yeah.
like whatever's going on there seems to, I don't know. It's making
pretty
cool
good.
stuff available.
Yeah.
I added another prediction.
Okay,
I don't want you guys thinking I'm adding ones that are already said. The two that I've added were both for Arc, and I've gotten none correct for Arc yet. So
There's still time.
Mm.
you know
I'm
that
still very predictable.
I'm not cheating. Yeah. Apparently not. But yes.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
If
Watch
I
it.
ever go back to Netflix like they're begging me to, then I will definitely check it out. Which I probably will, because I think Stranger Things season 4 is coming soon. So
At some point, yeah. Also, not an animated series, but watch Lupin.
Oh yeah.
Or Lupin.
Yeah.
The
Lupin the third.
Lupin. No, it's they did a live action French version based on the original Lupin the Third, the Lupin character from the books,
Lupin.
the old novels. It's really friggin' good.
Very good.
All right, but anyway, not an animated show, but really good.
Yeah.
So my number 3, I don't remember what it is. Yes, I do. Kind of going off of what Ark said. I watched Gargoyles when I was a little kid, but I also watched Batman the Animated Series. And for a while, like, I didn't think that when I found out that Gargoyles was actually Disney, I was like, no, it can't be Disney. Disney doesn't draw stuff like that. Warner Brothers draws stuff like that because they did Batman. But yeah, this series was not only just being good and fun to watch as a kid, but it was like the first serious superhero cartoon, because it was usually like Spider-Man's gonna go punch somebody, watch him swing a web, or it was like the Hanna-Barbera style cartoons, like the original Birdman and Space Ghost and things like that, the old Superman cartoons from back in the 50s. But then Warner Brothers decided to give this a solid, and just the animation style was unlike anything that had come out before. Like, they actually really leaned into the Art Deco look that they've used in a lot of Batman material, past and present. And like, yeah, and it treated a lot of the villains seriously. It wasn't just like, no, the Joker's funny because he's a clown, right? No, the Joker's not actually funny.
Joker's Mark
Right.
Hamill. That's terrifying.
And yeah, and it was Mark Hamill, and that started off Mark Hamill's voice acting career, which
Star Wars life.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because Mark Hamill also in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And but yeah, and it's just everything about the show. Like it was serious and it was well written, and you cared about why Batman fought the villains, and you cared about why the villains did what they did. Like it's definitely the best Mr. Freeze that's been put to the screen by far. Like I have a soft
That's been
spot.
considered.
I have a soft spot for the Arnold Mr. Freeze, even though Batman and Robin is a terrible movie.
Chill out.
But yeah, like the really like tortured, like introspective Mr. Freeze that you get from this show is really good.
That's like considered one of the best villain origin stories like ever depicted on film or screen.
Yeah.
It's a really good episode.
And it was a Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yep. And they played reruns during the week. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, it really was.
Good choice.
Good choice. Batman's
Yeah.
a good one.
That series dove into some pretty deep stuff, didn't it? Like,
Oh yeah. No, it's like yeah, each of the villains like you really it dealt into like organized crime and how that worked and how that's bad. And
yeah,
like
but like I've read some things too about the relationships between characters and how they're portrayed and how there's some sophistication there too. That's usually not seen in cartoons.
oh yeah.
Or wasn't at the time for sure.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot. Like a lot of the stuff happened in the comics and was fleshed out in the actual Batman comic series. But things like yeah, like he has a very like adversarial love-hate relationship with a lot of these characters. Like his relationship with the Two-Face character, because he is like Batman / Bruce Wayne was friends with Harvey Dent.
Yep.
But now Harvey's only half there, and they really make you remember that most of the time that he's on screen.
Yeah, they show that regret that he has as Bruce Wayne, like not being able to save him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep stuff.
It's deep stuff, and it definitely, one of the cool things I like about it is it influenced the way that Warner Brothers has done their superhero cartoons to this day. Like it's sort of set the style guide that they're still going with because they haven't thought of anything better.
Yeah, the new Harley Quinn series is quasi a sequel to this series, and Harley Quinn was invented for this series. So for those that love that character, invented for this series.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know that like this was a lot of people's favorite depiction of her, but I didn't realize it was the original one.
She first appeared in the show, and her first appearance in the comics was a Batman adventure, or like Batman.
It was an adaptation.
Batman Adventures 12, which was like drawn in the style of the show.
Oh,
nice.
So that's why her first appearance is really rare. It's because it was a kids comic, and kids destroyed their comics.
Books.
Oh yeah.
Threw them out.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, comic work stuff. Can't not talk about it.
You can't not talk about it. Like you can't talk about how cool the animated series was, and part of it was that it drew on the comics really well. It wrote up a bunch of new stuff, and still used some of the stuff from like the Adam West Batman show here and there, just for funsies. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's rare to find a show that's the whole package, and this was it. Also, I found
then why is it your number 3?
Because there are other whole packages out there.
Bigger whole packages.
Okay. Bigger whole packages. More tightly wrapped whole packages. But no, I was looking into this because I was trying to figure out how long the show went. Technically, it's only 2 seasons, but the first season is something like 60 episodes long because that's how they used to order cartoon shows back in the 90s.
That's like 3 seasons of a regular show.
Yeah.
Batman's package has been depicted in comics officially. So if you're talking about the whole package,
and it's been in movies.
You're expecting bigger packages.
A lot of belt shots in the movies. Just saying. Batman
and
Robin.
button nipple shots.
Yep. Batman
in the suit.
It was. Yeah. God, Batman and Robin was a mistake.
If you want to touch vinyl rubber butt. George Clooney. Okay, so
The
Ark,
Bat
you're
Butt.
number 3. Thinking about bat butts.
Follow up the Bat Butt.
But I will. My number 3 is Steven Universe.
Yeah.
We already talked about this though.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah. Good
It's an
one.
excellent show.
It's one for me.
Yep.
There.
Wait, what is this show?
Yeah, what show is this?
Oh,
See, I do.
nice
Harlock.
picture.
What show is this? Yeah, I'm very happy you picked this. I think you picked this image on purpose. But yeah, that's my Harlock reference right there. Wasn't mad to see it, especially because like the Lars character is kind of just a douche.
Yeah.
In the first few
He
appearances.
starts out rough around the edges, and they like he actually has a development arc, which is cool.
Yeah.
And you find out why he's angsty, mostly because he's just a teenager. But
Yeah.
I love
Teenager
the
with a
Switch
job.
Bodies episode. That's good.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I always love a good Switch Bodies episode.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Steven Universe, still
Steven
good.
Universe.
Yes.
It is still good, as it turns out. So is that Ian going first for number 2s?
It is. So my number 2. Let's see. Okay, yeah. If we want to talk about the whole package, actually, wait, no. Brian, what was your number 3?
Oh, I didn't do a number
No,
3.
yeah, we haven't done your number 3 yet. I gotta,
Ah,
I gotta,
just kidding.
I gotta delay my package talk for a minute.
Good. All right. I'm glad you didn't reveal your package to us. Okay. So my number 3 is I actually was surprised I put this on my list and this high, but my justification is I have rewatched this so many times since I got Netflix, and that is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Here's an animated series that starts off pretty weak, which was a spin-off of a pretty weak animated movie.
Backdoor pilot.
which were-
yeah.
Yeah, which were all based on the Tartakovsky amazing animated micro episodes. It took them a while to get their stride, but once they got their rhythm, some of the best Star Wars content this century has been from this, hands down. Asajj Ventress and Ahsoka Tano, both of those characters, I hated upon their release and reveal. I thought they were both like angsty, like a little like Doom Lordy, just like annoying as all hell. And now they're like two of my favorite characters in Star Wars. Both of those characters. I mean, they also dual wield, which is cool. But
Yeah.
like Asajj Ventress, I wish she could show up in some like movies or something, because like as a live action, because she's her whole story arc is amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
and it makes Anakin actually like a good character in like the prequel realm, instead of just like insufferable.
Yeah, I would say that the show has two flaws, and only two, really, other than the slow start that you mentioned, which it's not really a flaw. It just takes time. The first flaw is Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith is one of this show's greatest flaws. Because you get 7 seasons of Anakin being a good, followable character, and then Episode 3 happens, and he suddenly reverts to an absolute tool.
Yeah.
Like, it's been like a minute. What happened?
Yeah. Why are you a whiny douche again?
Yeah, like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Obi-Wan's your friend.
Yeah.
Did
I-
you know that Anakin hates sand?
so much. He really
Really hates it.
don't get him sand for his birthday.
Wait, what?
Gotta return
Can I
it.
get him something else?
Just got,
Gotta return
just
it.
got him a box of sand. What's up, nerd?
The only other flaw, and I love Dave Filoni, the creator behind the vast majority of the content in the Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels, and The Mandalorian. Like, dude's a genius. But but there are some of the little things, like the way that he has in a couple episodes, they meet personifications of the Force as sort of this Holy Trinity situation.
The Mortis
Yeah,
episodes.
the Mortis episodes, they're weird in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of the show. They just don't fit. But then
Some people love those episodes, though.
that's
weird.
They're great on their own. Like if they were to just do a Star Wars show where two random Jedi meet personifications of the living Force and have to try and kill the dark side as a person, it's a neat idea, but they just kind of plop it in the middle of like season 5 or something. It just kind of happens while the Clone Wars themselves are still happening out there and Mace Windu's like fighting droids.
Punching them.
Yeah, just punching them to pieces. But yeah, the rest of the show is fantastic. I love how they dealt with the clones. They made the clones people. And it raised the question of like, why are we Jedi peacekeepers, guardians of, law and order in the galaxy, leading what amounts to a slave army? Why are we doing that? And then the series ends because episode 3 happens and no one can do anything about it. Because that's how it was going to happen, how it was going to end the whole time. But like they actually raised that question in a children's Saturday afternoon TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. It's so good.
So good.
Yeah, it is really good.
And then, like, if you've been following the Bad Batch, like, Cad Bane just showed up in the Bad Batch,
so
and
cool.
like I got super hype for that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. I could talk about the Clone Wars forever.
Yeah, it is a really good series. I like the stylization of it too. They did a good job using that 3D animation style in a different way than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those hard square edges.
Yeah, I love those angular faces. Like
they look like they're made of blocks, like molded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. At the beginning of the series, they are kind of really trying to emulate the the Jedi quasi armored thing, and I'm glad that by the end of it they just kind of abandoned it because it looks stupid. Like
they stopped wearing like pieces of clone armor.
Yeah, like why would you like leave so much of yourself exposed and then like have a shoulder pad? It doesn't make any sense. So, luckily they like you can see in the picture that I picked, like that's a splash art for the final season, and they're just like pretty much wearing Jedi robes again.
Yeah, they're pretty much those who show up in episode 3. They're pretty much in those duds. And we got it was for you Mandalorian fans out there. It was a roller coaster of Mandalorian culture throughout that show.
Oh man, the whole Maul Mandalorian like story arc is so good.
Pacifist Mandos.
Yeah.
Wait, the terrorists are the good guys? Wait, the terrorists are the good guys. Like, no. Wait, no.
Are they?
Are they? And then they're not. And then it's the overall writing on the show was really good. And it's it's what happens when you have a vision that you're able to carry through a show all the way through. Very similar to The Last Airbender. Same sort of thing. Like they knew where they needed to go and they knew how they wanted to get there. And they did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. And another one of my favorite characters I just want to mention is Embo. Who he just has a giant hat that is blaster proof. And when he jumps in the air, he just like spins sideways so that the only thing you can hit is his blaster proof hat.
Is his enormous blaster proof hat.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Good stuff. All right. For real, reveal your package to us.
All right. Here it is. Let me just put it right out there. No, because I'm about to talk about a children's TV show. My number 2. I do think that as a piece of entertainment, this show is the whole package. But it is the 2017 reboot of DuckTales. It
Yep.
Nice.
yeah. There's a prediction right there. But it's funny. It's super funny. On all kinds of levels. The voice cast is great. David Tennant is Scrooge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, David Tennant Scrooge. I'm blanking on his voice. Ben Schwartz, the dude who voiced
Yes.
Sonic, is Dewey, the blue one.
Yeah.
Abed
Danny
from
Pudi's Huey.
Danny Pudi's Huey. Scott Moynihan is
Oh.
Louie.
Kate
Larry, I'm
McCucci's
on
in it.
DuckTales.
Yeah,
That's
Kate McCucci is Webby, so she's back in this show.
so
Like half the community, a bunch of the community alumni are in this show.
yeah, Jim Rash,
yeah,
Tajay Brewster,
Yep.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. Oh my god, this
Yeah,
cast is
Lin-Manuel
loaded.
Miranda is Gizmo Duck, my friends.
Yep.
He is Fenton Crackshell
Oh my God.
Cabrera. And
Don
like
Cheadle.
yeah, the best thing about Don Cheadle is Donald
Everything.
Duck is voiced by the guy who's been voicing Donald Duck for like the past 10-15 years. Like he's voiced by Disney's Donald Duck guy. Except in episodes where for whatever reason Donald Duck speaks clearly like a normal person. In those instances, he is voiced by Don Cheadle.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
Is there an explanation why he speaks normally?
Yeah, there's different things that
there's
happen.
different mechanics. Like he gets
Okay.
like a voice box in one. Another one he gets put under a spell.
He just sounds
like-
like Don Cheadle.
He just sounds like Don
it's
Cheadle.
just Don Cheadle talking. Like
Yeah.
there's no.
amazing.
Yeah, it goes from to Don Cheadle. Like, hello. All right, here's the plan. We're gonna do this.
so good.
I gotta watch this.
It's
It's on
very.
Disney Plus, right?
It's on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. It's only 3 seasons. They
We're
wrapped
all there.
they wrapped it up in a nice package. The writing is so good. The lore is surprisingly deep. Like they go into there's still a lot of little questions. Like you never really meet who the ducks like fought like Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You never meet who their father is, but you meet who their mother is.
Okay.
And obviously Donald and Uncle Scrooge are there. David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, as Scrooge, actually being a Scotsman, is great. Launchpad, the pilot character, is amazing. Like there'll be like he's just a goofy idiot the whole time, but there are episodes where like for whatever reason they'll have him do something at the beginning and he doesn't show up for the rest of the episode until the very end when he comes back. And he has apparently had an entire adventure that we will never know about as he gazes wistfully off into the sea.
That's brutal. I
It's-
want to know.
Yeah, oh, it's a great show.
They do some fun crossovers into other like Disney afternoon kind of shows too.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
they
I heard
kinda-
Bonkers shows up as
Yep.
in
Yep,
an
Bonker,
episode.
Yeah, this
Bonker
cameo.
shows up. A little bit of Darkwing Duck for
They did like
for that.
they basically did a backdoor pilot for a new Darkwing Duck series, but I don't know if they're gonna go through with it.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, one of the episodes totally is just a Darkwing Duck episode.
Oh, yeah. Bad Duck Batman. It's gotta happen.
Oh yeah.
Such
So
a
good.
that was a great show.
Yeah, they did a great all of the like I loved the old DuckTales when I was a little kid. Like I had Treasure of the Lost Lamp in the VCR
Oh, that's such a
all
good
the
idea.
time.
Yep.
But all of the updates they did while still keeping it DuckTales are just solid. Super solid.
Mm.
For one, the triplets actually have personalities that are distinct from each other. And
For the
Webby's
first
not
time.
Yeah, Webby's not just the pink one.
The girl duck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even do things like some of the adults in the series will make like an ironic, like not an ironic statement, but just like the blue one, like
because
the blue nephew.
other people who aren't part of the family apparently can't tell them apart. Still, thus they have that whole twin triplet thing that is very common in real life. So it's so good. It's so good. Definitely, if you have Disney Plus, give it a watch. They may be doing, if you have cable, it might be on Disney XD on reruns. That was where it originally aired. Very
I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only watched a little at the beginning, and then I don't have Disney Plus, so I haven't watched the end. But I did like it a lot. Like I'll never forget them rolling on top of the car and into the car, and
that gag was so good.
so good.
A lot of very good. Their storyboard team's pretty incredible. They bring a lot of neat things like that, I think.
Yeah, good stuff. Good style too. Love it.
Oh yeah. No, it's so good. But enough about DuckTales from me. Ark.
DuckTales.
It's DuckTales. It isn't DuckTales. I'm here to disappoint. It is The Dragon Prince.
Aha! Dang it. Okay, that was one that I added later.
Yeah. See, yeah. I mean, I don't. If you don't know this is gonna be here, you don't know me. You don't know me. I'm a Dragon Prince. This series is very good. It's got a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender alumni on the writing team, and I think that's part of why it's good. But they do a lot of neat stuff. They do that 3D animation supposed to look like cell animation style, and it looked real janky in season 1. And I got to do that thing that I hate it when people do. And I got to say, if you're starting the series, just continue through season 1. You got to get through it. You can do it. It gets better, I promise. But yeah, the story is still really good in season 1 and all that. The characters are amazing. The characters are written well, and the overreaching conflict is written well. And they got greenlit to do the rest of the series as they intended. So we're gonna see the whole thing someday. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, because the last season ended almost like it could wrap up, but then there was a cliffhanger teaser.
Season 3 feels like it was made under the assumption that they might not get renewed.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of weird pacing stuff. It's a weird season. It's a good season. Everything's great, but the pacing's very weird.
It's only a lot of the weirdness has only been apparent because we have watched this show so many times.
So much.
We have there have definitely been weekends where we started the show, episode 1, season 1, watched it all the way through, and then started it over.
Yep.
Same day.
We'll watch the last episode in season 3, and we're like, what do we watch now? S1, E1. Let's watch this again.
I've definitely done that. Especially, it only ever happens with animated shows. I don't ever do that with live action.
Yeah,
there's very few. There's very few live action shows I'll do it.
It's got a refreshing kind of new take on a fantasy world that has classic fantasy tropes, but still has its own lore that isn't just ripped directly from Lord of the Rings. Everything has in the last century. But,
yeah.
The elves aren't Tolkien elves. They're elves.
Yeah.
But
they're similar, but they're different kinds of elves.
Yeah.
There are fire elves.
There are.
They'll burn your shit off.
The fire elves are so cool. The world building in this is cool. As a D&D player, this is my jam. I'm into it.
Yeah. You guys introduced it to us one, I think it was a game night.
Yeah, we're all let's watch The Dragon Prince instead of playing games because that's how important it was to me.
No, I think some of us were playing something, and you guys just were like, I need to see some of the new Dragon Prince, and you just started putting it on in the middle of something, and we were just like, what is this show? And then we started it over.
Oh, let me tell you.
Yeah, because I saw the end of season 1 before I saw the beginning of it.
Really?
Yeah,
that
because
was,
of
that
you
was
guys.
weird of
Yeah,
us.
I think you were playing X-Wing in your
that's
dining
right.
room,
Yeah,
and we were in the living room on the couch.
Just drawing.
I
or
remember
something.
drawing. Yeah.
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 Yep. That's
But
what
I
it
will
was.
But then I
honestly
was
say,
hooked.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have watched it if I hadn't started it there, because I
Yeah,
may have just
same.
overlooked it or not really been like, oh yeah, maybe sometime and then not. But like that actually got me to go home and like I think I started it over so I could watch it without like the distractions and then watched
Hmm.
it through.
I
Yeah.
definitely like when I finished the first season, the same day I did immediately start it over
Mm.
because it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like at this point, it's one of my go-to background shows. If I'm like sitting down and blocking out some time to draw or whatever, I'll have it on because I know it so well. Just kind of enjoy being near it. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, season three was weird, but still good, and season 4 will come someday, and the rest of the series will come someday. They might be this is my guess is that they're like reworking some things because I think they did try to tie up a bunch of loose ends.
Hmm.
In season 3, and now they're like, oh crap, we tied up those ends. What do we do? There's a lot of other
Gotta
things.
untie 'em.
Untie 'em. Season 3 didn't happen.
We didn't do that.
Didn't do that. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Good show.
Very good show.
Really good.
Good show. Jolly
Good
good.
humor.
Good show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the humor is very good.
All
All right. So my number 2.
Yes.
I'm going to preface this with saying that many people, if you look up articles about like best shows for geeks, some people will say The Big Bang Theory, and they're wrong.
Yeah.
The best shows
They're
for
wrong.
geeks is my number 2, and it's Futurama.
Okay.
This is one of the smartest shows ever on television, in my opinion. If you want just obscure references to like scientific or mathematic, or just anything actually like nerdy, like the Mobius strip race scene is hysterical. It's like, what is that? Is that that's lap 3? It's like, no, that's lap 1. It takes 2 laps to make 1 lap on a Mobius strip. Like stuff like that. It's just like thrown offhand, but if you get it, it's hysterical. But they don't like. It's not presented in a way that if you don't understand it, you won't like the show. It's still funny on its own.
Yeah.
It's just more funny if you get it. It's also one of those shows that I've rewatched a lot when it's not The Office in the background. When I was like grading papers and stuff, sometimes I'll just put Futurama on again. It's great.
Yeah, I've found that I like Matt Groening's non-Simpsons projects so much better than The Simpsons. Because
Same.
the other one that he has on Netflix, Disenchanted, is basically just a D&D parody. It's great.
Yeah. Adult D&D.
Adult D&D.
Yeah.
But no, like, yeah, Futurama is like it goes into things like, yeah, what if Bender was God, but only to the civilization that was living on his ass.
Yeah.
As he
And they
drifts
go there.
through space.
It's just also such a quotable show.
It really is.
And obviously some of the memes, like, they just
Not
can't be
so real.
denied.
Mhm.
Yeah, or shut up and give me my money.
Yep.
Shut up and
Um,
take my money.
Shut up and take my money. Yeah. Or also like even simple things like I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Or
Or news, everyone.
Even just, yeah, some of the one-off lines that aren't even like jokes on jokes, just like, good news, it's a suppository. I'm like, what? Like, when is that ever good news, sir?
Right now.
Right now.
one of my favorite quotes is from one of the early episodes when Fry tries to live with Bender. It might even be the pilot. He tries to live with Bender in like a closet,
Mm.
and Bender's dreaming, and he's just like, "Hey, sexy mama, you wanna kill all humans?" That's one of my favorite things to say that nobody gets.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's a
It has,
great
like-
show.
Yeah, I feel like Simpsons like hints at moments of like heart, But Futurama is where he really puts like a lot of heart into the story and like the characters and everything. Because like you think about, there's like the Luck of the Irish episode, or Fryrish, and then there's the dog one.
Oh
Where,
God!
Like if you just like heard that song, I would like playing somewhere, I would just start crying.
Yeah, it's like the most unwatchable repeat. On repeat episode. Like
Yeah.
you see it once, you can't
kinda,
watch it
yeah,
again.
you kind of it's in there. You just kind of
Yeah.
skip it, but for all the right reasons. Like
He
Is the
forgot
Fryrish
about
one
me
about
a long
his-
time ago?
Is the Fryrish one the one about his brother?
Yeah, it's the 4-leaf clover one about his brother.
That's an incredible episode. Yeah.
It's also
Mhm.
really good. Top
Yeah.
tier.
Or the one with the time travel. It's basically they make the H.G. Wells time machine, and they just like watch the end of the universe. But like
Fry and Leela.
yeah, well, like Fry's on the machine, and he's like supposed to meet with Leela, but the machine can't go backwards.
Yeah.
so he
So,
just
like-
keeps going. He's like, screw it,
Yeah.
forward.
So they just and like the universe is reborn. But like stuff like that. God, it's such a good show.
Yeah, a really good choice.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank goodness it kept getting renewed after being canceled so many times.
It's got to be one of the most canceled shows of all time. Even
It
for
kept getting
Fox.
brought back
Yeah.
because of fans. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. All right, so Mel, you're number 2, and then break time.
Perhaps. I do kind of need to use the bathroom. But first,
Yeah.
Mel.
My number 2 is Hilda. Very, very good series. Also a good comic, but so if you look at the comics, they look completely different at the beginning, and they translated the characters super well to animation. And Hilda is one of my background shows, like where I'll just put it on and like go through it again. Just really, really smooth animation, really good humor, very like wholesome and fun, and like it's not about like monsters, but it is about like different creatures. And Hilda is just like a very daring character who like wants like grew up in the woods, so she's familiar with them, and like she has her cute pet deer fox Twig, and like I'm pretty sure the most recent season, like there's an episode that focuses on Twig, and it like I think it got nominated for awards or something. It's so good.
Ooh.
It gets me every time I watch that one. But yeah, really, really good show. Highly recommended. Another Netflix series. Really.
It's
very
a show
love
that
it so
I
much.
have not watched enough of. I think I've watched maybe 7 episodes of it in random order. But they are all good, even without any of the continuity in my head. Because, like, I know it has a
you don't really
continuity,
need it.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But, like, I just keep hopping in and out of it, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I've like had it on and then like wasn't paying attention and then like was watching an episode and like it didn't matter that I like completely zoned out of like a couple of them, because like at most you get like a recurring character and you don't really know their history or whatever, but that's not important for that episode. It's so good.
The art
Okay.
style reminds me of Gravity Falls.
A
Yeah.
little bit,
Yep.
yeah. I really do love the art style for it.
Were you gonna say Arc?
It's a really neat, it's a gentle show. Like it's just a nice show to watch, and every once in a while it kind of gets into the feels, but not in a abrupt, jarring way. It's like it's very good.
Yeah, that's why I think it's good for background, because you don't have like these giant epic fights that get really loud and things like you have like exciting parts, but it's not just like extreme or violent or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
very good.
Pleasant.
I just love watching their mouths animate too, because everything is so
It's
smooth
super
and
smooth.
bouncy. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good style too, like kind of unique style for like other stuff you see right now.
Yeah.
I just love 2D too. I love 2D best. So
You would.
I would. So yeah, that's my number 2.
Sweet.
Yay.
Alright.
All right.
Alright. So yeah, we will take a quick break, and we will get back in with our gluten-free, not Gravity Falls. We will hop back in with our honorable mentions, and then we will go into our top choices for the best animated series in our opinions, which are correct. They are the correct.
Yeah, our correct
opinions.
Yeah,
opinions.
they're 100% correct.
100%
Absolutely objective. Like,
correct. Yes.
Don't at us.
No.
Don't have
At
him, right?
Ian. At Ian.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but not the rest
Yeah,
of us.
yeah, you can. My takes are all hot and bad. We know that.
Yep.
But we'll be right back. Please stay with us, and we will be back in a moment. Hello, and welcome back to Powered Casual Presents 5 Hit List Animated Series. Alright, so, to sum up, so far, we got a pretty good smattering of venue here. We got some Netflix, a fair amount of Netflix. We got some Disney, a little bit of Nicktoons, to be fair. Maybe not as much Nicktoons as I was predicting, but some.
They're both on mine.
Yeah, they are both on yours. The only is interesting. The only Cartoon Network cartoon to appear on any list so far is Steven Universe.
Futurama was on Cartoon Network for a while, wasn't it?
Well,
Probably one of its incarnations.
it being on Adult Swim in syndication doesn't count.
Oh, come on.
It was on Fox. It's a first-run show on Fox, just like Bob's Burgers.
All right, so honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Whose turn is it? Is it
Who went first?
We back to Arc?
I think
so.
I went
We
right
are.
before the break, so I thought it was
Oh, we
Ian.
moved again.
Oh, so yeah, it would be Ian leading off.
Me. Okay. Wait a minute. I gotta flip some stuff around here. Nope.
Well, wait, no, didn't Ian...
Whoa.
There we go. Part of the problem is that there we go.
Messed up the order at one
We
point because we skipped Brian.
We skipped you at number 2. So you went, then I went, and then I went.
Or like number 3, yeah.
Yeah. There we go. No, don't raise no, none of that. We already messed up the order once, and I just reshuffled things. It's Ark's turn.
I don't know how to unraise my hand.
You don't touch anything. It'll go away after a minute.
Just keep raising it over and over.
No. There you go. All right, but no, it is Ark's turn. So, what are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions. I have 3 of them for you today.
My God.
Are they going in descending order like the rest of the entries?
It's up to you.
It's sort of how you loaded those in.
They're individually numbered.
Yeah.
So like which number is first, 3 or 1?
I don't know. Mine aren't really numbered.
Whichever way you want to do.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I thought I was gonna name it, and then the image was gonna like this. That's the thing. We can't do that if. Okay.
No, there's no rules for honorable mentions. There's no.
Pull up.
It's a war zone in here.
Okay, pull up honorable mention number 1 for me, Ian.
Number 1. That is that one.
It should be BoJack Horseman. Is it BoJack Horseman?
Well,
okay,
it's
cool.
Princess Carolyn, but yeah.
Yeah, it is Princess Carolyn. Yeah. So yeah, BoJack is definitely an honorable mention. The animation technique it's all right. But the subject matter that it covers and the fact that they were like, we could cover some mature stuff in a cartoon show and actually make it good. Appreciate that. It is hard to watch. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. It's a lot, but yeah. It's well done. A lot of thought behind the writing in that one.
Yeah, for a show that is based on anthro furry people, it is dark, and it doesn't hide it either. Like it's all of the ups and downs of substance abuse and depression and suicide and all of it wrapped up in the bundle of celebrity, and living in a Hollywood-esque situation.
I think it's depicted well even in the title sequence that it's going to be some deep material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It doesn't.
The title sequence changes every few episodes to reflect things that have changed in the show too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And it's a great example of a show where the good guy doesn't win, really, because he shouldn't. Because he's not a good guy.
He's not a good person. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why I haven't continued watching it, because like
it's hard to watch.
Everyone kind of sucks.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely hard to watch. Like,
yeah.
But I think that's neat to see in cartoon format.
Yeah.
It's neat. It's like it's a neat kind of thing to see in any format, but like explored with this medium. It's interesting.
Cool.
I
Cartoons
haven't
can be
watched
good.
BoJack, but I love Tuca and Birdie, and
Yep.
I know that they're like comparable. Tuca and Birdie I love because like I love both the characters because they're both great and they're in different ways. Also, Steven Yeun is amazing in it
He
too.
is.
He's so funny. Really good show.
Yeah, Tuca and Birdie. I've seen season 1. Then it was really good.
The
And that also gets into some like heavy stuff.
does. But BoJack, in the middle of doing all that, it has a lot of. It makes fun of Hollywood constantly, which is great. Makes fun of just tabloid media and just being famous and how just being famous is ridiculous, just as a concept. But then it also has some stuff like there is an episode that they do entirely underwater. So BoJack can't talk, and none of the dialogue is intelligible. So there is almost no actual speaking for an entire 30-minute episode. And it carries beautifully. Like, they did a great job of visual storytelling when they want to. Just letting it all happen. And then at the very end, you find out BoJack could talk the whole time.
Wow, spoilers. Jeez. But yeah, it's a very melancholy but very creative show. It's
And crap, I'm blanking on his name. The dude who voices
Aaron
BoJack.
Paul.
No, Aaron
Oh.
Paul's in it, and he's great.
Aaron Paul's in it.
Leslie Knope's wife. His
Yeah.
ex-husband.
Yeah, her
Sorry.
actual ex-husband. All right, I gotta look this up because I want to praise the guy, but
Job.
Job.
What's
Yeah,
Jo-
yeah, I'm remembering all of his characters. Will Arnett.
That
Yeah.
guy.
There we go. I knew his last name started with an A. He does such a great job in this. Like, there is an episode where he delivers, like, the opposite of the episode I just talked about, where he does, like, a 20-minute monologue eulogy for a character. Straight.
Hmm.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, the show takes a lot of risks. I think that's part of the reason why I included it here.
It's very good.
Cool. What's
Very
your next
good choice.
honorable mention?
My next one, number 2, is Powerpuff Girls.
Nice.
They're out there doing the good stuff. The original
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, I like what that brought kind of a new aesthetic to animation that we kind of hadn't seen before. That heavy lines, that kind of look, that sort of, I think for a little while it became kind of synonymous with Cartoon Network.
Mhm.
But the series was just like it was one of those fun things that like just turned a bunch of tropes on their heads and in a fun way. Bunch of superheroes. It's great. And I think that it had a lot of influence in a lot of the cartoons we're seeing today. When I was a kid, I was really resistant to the idea of liking it because I was like, oh no, I'm a cool dude. I can't like this. Again, like I missed out on so many great things because I refused to let myself like them. So this is another series that I didn't visit until later. And I was like, wow, yeah, no, this was great. I should have watched this
So
when I was a
good.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories when I first kind of moved out of my parents' house and came back to visit, Mel and I were watching an episode and like they're raising this pet and the pet grows enormous and starts rampaging across the city and eating everybody. And it corners Bubbles and Bubbles goes, but I love you. And there's this emotional moment. They stare at each other and they both tear up. And then he eats her anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of clever stuff like that. I forget whose brainchild was it. Was it Craig McCracken?
Yep.
And didn't it start as like a college project called the Whoop-Ass Girls or something like that?
I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so it's special.
It's so good.
It's got is Tartakovsky connected
He
with
did
it too?
Samurai Jack, and
Okay.
I think also did Dexter's Lab. So I remember like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab would play like back to back.
Yeah, I used
Yeah,
to think, yeah,
Because they're
I-
similar.
yeah, and I thought that they were the same team, but no.
Well, that
Well, I
like,
think
so-
that Gendy would, or Gendy, I don't know how to say his name, but I think he worked on Powerpuff Girls maybe, or like maybe directed or wrote some episodes too, maybe.
Hmm.
I feel like that their names would come up together sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
yeah,
have worked
okay.
together with some things, I think.
Yeah, I had to look this up. Yeah, he was a quote unquote pivotal crew member on the Powerpuff Girls.
Hmm.
yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. A very geometric kind of like
That's his look. Yeah.
angles and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's one of-
sorry,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say also one of my favorite obscure bands does the closing theme song, Biss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What you were saying?
I forget. Oh, yeah. So it's that style that became so iconic. Like, and that kind of thick line, sort of geometric look, became kind of a big deal as animation studios started using digital tools to draw, like Flash and things like that. And it's fascinating to look back at this, and I think, yeah, the series was done in cell animation. So, like, the shops that painted those cells were like top tier. That's like,
Hmm.
it's just such a, I don't want to use the word geometric again. There's just, yeah, those bold. There's a boldness, the bold lines and things like that. Very cool.
Yeah, so good. Very funny.
Yeah. The characters all have very unique silhouettes too.
Like one of my favorite episodes is when him is talking to Bubbles through the octopus doll, and it keeps like zooming in on the face of the octopus doll. It's like so good at being creepy while she's just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the humor in the show is really good.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
great. Tara Strong.
Tara Strong.
Tara Strong, and who does the voice of Tommy Pickles and Buttercup? Also a good voice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
she's
she's
also
fantastic.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, crap.
So good.
So,
E.G. Daily.
mm. All right. So, what is your third honorable mention?
A third honorable mention is the horse show. The other horse show. The other show
horse
about
show.
horses, but they're small this
The
time.
cute horse show.
The cute horse
MLP.
show.
My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. This was the first cartoon series or series of any kind that I watched and said, wow, the people who worked on this actually like loved the original thing back in the day. The people who worked on this are like my age-ish, and they played with the toys, and now they're making a show about it. And they're happy to be here by the looks of it. So like,
You picked a derpy.
muffins.
Sorry. My bad. We know their real name.
We do.
Yes.
But yeah, that's my favorite character too. Anyway, but yeah, I think it did a lot of weird things as far as like culture goes and stuff, and that was the fan base was a whole thing. But yeah, the production of the show was like, it was interesting, and I think that it was also an early entry in that whole, the show is for kids, but parents won't be bored watching it, and older siblings won't be bored watching it because it's witty. There's a funness there that everyone can enjoy. So yeah, I always appreciated it from all those angles.
Hmm.
And now it's over, which is good. I mean, you can't run these things forever.
Yeah. Well, look at The Simpsons. What happens when you do run them forever?
You get the Simpsons. It turns into the Simpsons eventually.
Yeah.
Just merges Akira style into.
No, just like Rainbow
Da-da-da.
Dash turns into Bart. I don't want to. I don't want
They're just
like.
Fusing together.
I
And
don't
you have
want
to
see that
summon
anymore,
something to
but also I
explode.
It's
do.
just Bart voiced by Tara Strong.
Not that different.
Not that different. Could happen.
No
Ashley
way,
Ball.
man.
Ashley Ball. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
come on.
Say, look, I enjoyed the show very much. I will say it. But like, yeah, and some of the things that they do, especially in the later seasons, like just there is a scene where Twilight is going a little bit insane, trying to do something perfectly, And I think she's planning a meal, and she decides the best thing to have for everybody involved, because she's trying to think of everybody, make everybody welcome. She lands on pudding as the dish. But the way that they have this straight-laced character just suddenly snap and just like really tweak out visually and just slowly say, it's like, oh, I know what we should have. Pudding. It just happens, and I lost it when it happened. They do a lot of things like that are really adventurous, because it's just like, this might fall flat. Even kids might not think this is funny. But it pays off almost every time. And I will say, I did go see the Pony movie, which was very good. The two best moments that I had in it were when we were invited to go see the movie. Is our good friend Mick, who introduced us to the show, was like, just immediately messaged us when it was coming out. It was just like, I think I need 2 people to go see this movie with. And I immediately thought of you two.
She knows how to pick him.
Yep.
I
And
can't believe Rainbow Dash is dead.
that was one of the other moments. We were watching it in a mostly empty theater. And there is a moment where it's Twilight again, and it's a cliffhanger. There's a moment where it looks like
Oh,
she's
Twilight.
dead, and it hangs on it for a little while.
An uncomfortable
In a
amount of
comfortable
time.
amount of time, you're like, shit, they might have done it. They might have killed off the main character. We may have to have a few episodes about grief. Shit. And
Brutal.
and then, like, after the movie, we left, and our friend Abs says, like, well, he also saw it with us and was like, man, for a minute I was like, I can't believe Twilight Sparkle's fucking dead.
So Ian and I have a fun game that we play called This Is Where the Movie Ends. We just say the end at like the point where, like, you know, like
Where it would be
we gotta
crushing.
mess with we gotta mess with our
Like
knees.
Frozen.
Yeah, we gotta make these cuts of movies that just like stop at the downbeat.
The worst moment.
Go to cut to credits, and that would have been that would have been the end of that movie.
Yeah.
The end.
It just hangs and hangs and then fades to black.
Credits.
And then all the kids just start crying.
Yep. Just think about it. It's like, you watch Up. Next time you watch Up,
It's a
Just
10-minute movie.
end it.
it's a 10-minute
End it after
movie.
the-
It stops when
sequence.
Ellie dies.
It's horrible.
Oh, God.
But yeah, it just
Oh, that hurt
Anyway.
my heart just thinking of that.
Yeah. We are terrible people.
yeah. We gotta talk about something else.
Like,
We gotta go to the next.
This is
Honorable
one of the
mention.
reasons why I'm good being an uncle instead of a dad.
Because you would just shut it off right at that moment.
No. Collectively, we would go further and make like edited versions of the movie and burn them to a DVD.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
no matter what
man.
you do, it ends there.
Yeah.
I went to my friend's house and we watched it, and it ends way different.
Dad, we need to talk.
My parents have been ruining my life, killing all my favorite characters.
So again,
Yeah. This is this is why
Traumatize your children.
right.
with
we're not legally
Edited
allowed to have
movies.
kids.
not allowed.
Right, and they'd go to school and they'd start comparing movies that they know with
They'd
their
say-
friends
yeah,
and be
they'd-
like, oh,
God, I hate the ending.
They're
And they're
"No."
like, what?
And then they'd
it's such a
spread it
sad ending.
and be like, no, Twilight dies, guys.
And they're like, no,
Twilight Sparkle's
Oh, man.
dead.
the kid will like get in fights on the playground over it. Be like,
There's like 2
They
more
die.
seasons of the show. No, there aren't. I haven't seen them. Anyway,
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
we're terrible people, Ian.
we're terrible.
you like
We need to.
every time your kid goes on Wikipedia to write to look it up, you like go in and edit it. Be like, Twilight Sparkle dies in episode 16.
Okay, anyway, that's all my honorable mentions. What we got? What do
Brian,
we got?
how many honorable mentions do you have?
Only 3 this time. I can't believe I managed to boil it down to 3. So You can just show all three right now.
My goodness.
I
Yeah.
would have been remiss not to mention Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original from the late 80s and early 90s.
Mhm.
Officially my first real obsession as a kid.
It was common.
We would like
especially in
collect
New
everything.
England.
Yeah, it was on at 4 o'clock
Love a turtle.
every afternoon. Had to be home by then. Yep. Then Daria definitely helped shape a lot of my teenage years. Yeah, very good. And Adventure Time.
Good one.
Yeah, I have cosplayed as Lemon Grab. And, it was a good time. Yeah.
Adventure Time was
Not
another
acceptable.
was another show that I couldn't get into watching it, but I love the lore. Like what
Yeah.
I've read up on the show, the lore is really good and really deep and really interesting, but I just couldn't get into it.
My God, that song that reveals it's like Marceline and Ice King.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Destroyed
Soul crushing.
me.
Yeah. And yet,
Also,
that
like-
was one I couldn't stop watching and listening to.
Yeah. I love Marceline so much. Such a good show. Like also that song where she's singing she sings at the door. And they have to like play music.
Yes, that's
and
a
the
fantastic.
door is like opening, but she's not even paying attention to it because she
Mhm.
just like gets wrapped up in her own like song that she's doing, and
Yeah.
that's a really good song too.
I'm just
like,
your
very-
problem.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
deep characters. Also, that voice actress is the girl at the end of Love Actually,
Yep, she's a singer.
which I hadn't known for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, that's the same person? She's like all grown up now.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, fantastic
show.
music in that show, and yeah, the lore, just like the post-apocalyptic, like world
Finn,
of ooh.
Yeah, Finn's the human because he's it.
Mm-hmm.
Every other human is mutated or dead.
Yeah,
Like when I
and he
found that
eventually
out,
loses his arm.
I was
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah,
And
yeah. Because Marceline got turned into a vampire. Ice King is now crazy.
And also TMNT classic. It's not a good show.
Yeah, that's actually why it's not
It's
above
good.
honorable mentions. Because out of all of the ones on my list, it's probably the least watchable.
Yeah.
It's good nostalgia though.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it makes
it
for
hasn't aged
great
as well.
pizza parties. I once
Yeah,
went
if
to
you
a
want
pizza
terrible
a pi-
pizza.
Well, yeah, we did the pizza party thing where you got all the ingredients that ever get mentioned on the show because at the end of every episode they order a pizza and it's got like crazy ingredients.
Oh,
And then
no.
like somebody like they numbered every single like clip and then they hit shuffle on the video clips and when it was your turn you hit play and you got the clip and then you had to eat that pizza and put those toppings on it like a slice of and it was like chocolate sauce with pepperoni, which was like one of the more mild ones, but then sometimes it was like order an anchovy and whipped cream pizza
Yeah.
or whatever. Like it was
Or like marshmallows and anchovies and
Yeah,
stuff.
and like
so
what
gross.
what pizza parlor in New York would ever put up with that shit?
Ugh.
I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen those turtles though, right? That's terrifying.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
They're the superheroes in town. But what pizza shop would have those ingredients? I guess is
Yeah.
the question.
like,
I
all
guess if they
right,
had
Timmy,
dessert.
go and get some whipped cream. The sewer men want more pizza.
But yeah,
That
good-
is not good.
and made for a lot of good toys.
Yes, so many toys.
Absolutely.
And kind of launched like a new wave of like anthropomorphic cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so many like mock-up comics too, like the geriatric gerbils comic or whatever.
Well, and there's
Street
the other
Sharks.
Street Sharks.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Also
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yep.
Ah, Street Sharks.
Hmm.
Street Sharks was actually like comparable. And actually, yeah, like this sort of thing is actually what got us the Mighty Ducks. which got us a professional hockey team out in Anaheim, named after a Disney TV show.
It was a movie.
And well, it was a movie, and they had like a TV show where it was like anthro ducks who wore hockey gear and were
That's right.
superheroes and drove around in a van. But that is the imagery that the NHL professional expansion team, the Anaheim Ducks, used for like their first decade, was like logos from the TV show.
Heck yeah.
Yep, because their stadium was across the street from Disney.
Makes perfect sense.
It does.
All right, so that's it for me.
All right.
Mel, honorables.
I have 3. I'll go through them quick though. Okay, so we'll do my number 1 first, which you've already talked about, which is Bob's Burgers. Has to be on my list somewhere because it's just so good.
Mhm.
My number 2 honorable mention is Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts. So
Ooh,
good.
Good choice.
That's one of my go-to background shows because of the soundtrack. Like if I'm not watching it, I can just hear the music, and the music is so good. And the story is really good. At first I didn't know if I'd like it because of the style. Because I was like, I know it kind of reminds me of like the original Teen Titans a little bit. Like it's very sharp looking in its art style, which didn't appeal to me at first, but it really grew on me, and like characters are really good.
Dave's
What's
the
the
best.
what's that?
Dave is just the best.
Oh yeah, Dave and is it Ben Bennett?
Yeah.
Benton? Yeah, they're so good. Also like the whole arc of Scarlet Man, so good. And like learning the backstory and the lore for that show is really, really so good.
It's another good inclusivity show on top of all that.
Yeah,
like-
she's like part Korean.
Yeah, she is, and like the and her voice actress was also one of the voice actresses on She-Ra. She was Glimmer on She-Ra. So it was like
Yeah,
there were some days where we would watch She-Ra and then switch to Kipo, and it would be like, wait, she's still pink, but she looks
Yeah.
different. Now she's
Yeah.
a jaguar. But this was also one of the better examples of a TV show, especially a DreamWorks TV show, where they had a gay character. And they did a great reveal of Benton as being a gay character, even in a post-apocalyptic world, because that wouldn't make any difference. And like Kipo has a crush on him, and admits the crush, and he's like, "No, sorry, I'm gay." And that's it. They're still friends. Doesn't change their relationship,
yeah.
really. Like, and
So good.
it's not like this big, huge, drawn out thing where they have to explain why being gay is okay, because you don't. It is. It's just okay. And at the same time, unlike Voltron, they didn't just kind of like shoehorn it in at the very end to make it look like, oh yeah, we had a gay guy the whole time. It's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
And number 3?
Oh yeah, sorry. My number 3 honorable mention was Rugrats, just because that was probably the show I watched the most of when I was young. Of all the Nicktoons, that was like probably my favorite. It never got old for me, and it was like watching it as an adult even made me love it more, because it does that thing where you're like, how did I miss all these jokes? Also, where the hell are the parents this like every day? What are they doing? Like I rewatched the movie and I was like, how did they lose their kids in the woods for 3 days? What is this family? Like how has
Yeah, because
like,
they're all brought over
the
to
human
the pickle.
services hasn't just taken their children away from them?
Well, yeah, and they're all
Yeah.
brought over to the Pickles house for daycare.
Yeah, one of the baby's like 2 days old, and they lose it in the woods for more days than it's been alive. Like or that they've had the baby. Like it's wild. But that show is really funny. Like there's some really good jokes. Like I know Mick and I have said this quote a lot where it's like Stu in the kitchen at 3 a.m. and she's like, "Why are you doing that?" It's 3 in the morning, and Stu just goes, "I've lost control of my life." And because he's just like really tired and like depressed.
Just
But yeah,
making
there's some
eggs
really
for
good.
some reason.
Yeah, he's just like cooking something on the stove at 4 a.m. Really good show.
Oh man.
Rugrats almost
revisit
made
it.
my list. It almost did.
All right, so we got another Nicktoon on there. Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's a point for
Oh.
me. All right. So my
So,
honorables.
I think you accidentally put it up here.
Did I? Oh yeah, at one point I did. I did accidentally flip it up for a second because I hit the wrong button. So we'll do that. Now it's the wrong button again. There we go. One of my honorable mentions. We've made fun of it more than we've talked about it, but it is The Simpsons. If nothing else, because it proved that you can have a cartoon sitcom that everyone will watch. Like, it proved that it is a genre that is worth money. Because there's like everybody remembers a point where we did watch The Simpsons, and then we remember that was 20 years ago that we were watching The Simpsons. I keep thinking of episodes that I've seen, and I look up what season they were, and it's like season 7. They're on season 36.
Oh my god.
Like, it's
That's so many.
ridiculous at this point. It's one of those shows that I don't think they could stop if they wanted. I think one of the actors might die, but the words will still come out of the body onto the screen somehow. It's not a great show anymore. Even a lot of the voice actors don't think it's a great show anymore. But
they're making money.
They're making money, and I mean, if I were in that boat, yeah, if I were able to do one show a week and make a lifelong career out of that, hell yes, I would. But just, yeah, for laying the groundwork for so many other shows, including my beloved Bob's Burgers. That's why it's an honorable mention for me. My other honorable mention, She-Ra and the Princesses of the Universe.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, it's a show that I'll just rewatch. I didn't talk a whole lot about it earlier when it was on Arc's list because I was gonna pop back up here. But yeah, the characters are all so well done, and just for a show that is specifically targeted at young girls, not quite in the way that My Little Pony was. It is an older audience. It's still entertaining for me, a 30-something-year-old dude. The jokes are all great. The characters are hilarious. Like I was talking about earlier, Scorpia is amazing. Like, there's a character that I didn't quite get where it was going at first, but then just as the show goes on, she just gets better and better. Everything that we said about it earlier, it's a great show.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Hey, Adora. So good.
Is it She-Ra?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also like I just love the redesigns and like everything about it.
They're so
I know
they're so much better than
Yeah.
than the crap we had in the 80s.
Right.
Like, Catra makes sense now. She's not just a weird woman in a red dress who purrs. And they actually have a parody episode where they sort of like do an alternate reality thing, and they do callbacks to all of their old designs.
And the framing is a D&D game. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's right, it is. Yeah, they have a D&D episode. Yeah, it's just
so good.
it's so good. To the point where, yeah, I was, like many people, legitimately disappointed when I found out that the new He-Man show they're making is not
Looks
in any.
exactly like it used to.
Yeah, looks like it used to, and is apparently in no way related to this. And it's like,
Yeah, it's
no,
sad.
man, give me that crossover. Give me, the Etheria Eternia crossover that existed back in the day. give me more of that.
Yeah, they could have done so much with the He-Man designs. Like I was excited to see what like Skeletor could look like if they changed him a little, or like even He-Man.
Yeah.
But or
Well-
even if like He-Man stayed the same and everyone else changed, like
Yeah, because the
Something
He-Man
like that.
design is fine. It is what it is. The dude, he already wore a pink shirt and tights, even when he was in the Prince Adam persona. So, like, all right, keep that. That's fine. And then, yeah, then I'm just have him be Arnold for the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
or like even having it be He-Man, but he's like younger, kind of like what they did with She-Ra, and not like it's like a teenager.
Yeah.
But no.
No.
But no.
Oh man, SpongeBob should have been one of my honorable mentions. I can't believe I forgot. Sorry.
Oh,
That
Oh
one
man.
totally slipped my mind somehow, despite being
It's I still
what it is.
I've watched like maybe 5 episodes because it came out too late for me and I never looked back.
It's too late.
It's too late for me.
One of my good friends in high school, like middle school into high school, Jamie had a very small brother, and he watched Bob Pear Pants, as he called it, like every day, all day. Yeah, Bob
Nice.
Pear Pants. So that's how I ended up watching it a lot. It's because I'd like hang out at their house, and like he would be watching it. I'm like, this show is good.
It is, and there's a lot of stuff that like the whole concept of Gary is great.
Gary the Snail is fantastic.
Yep.
The episode
Um,
where they're trying to get Gary in the bathtub. It's a great episode.
Just Squidward and Patrick, like
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Yeah, Squidward as a character speaks to me.
I think Patrick is like Patrick would be one of those like surprisingly funny characters to me because I'm like, oh, he's so stupid, and then like they use that in such a good way. Like I remember they're like trying to find like this criminal, and they're like in the silhouettes, and like SpongeBob and Patrick have like a walkie-talkie set, and like SpongeBob's like, do you see him? And Patrick's like, I do. He's coming towards me, and it turns out to just be SpongeBob, like. But like the way they do Patrick's voice during that scene is so good. But anyway, sorry to derail. I just like thought of that, and I'm mad at myself for not.
The memes with
but-
Patrick are some of my favorite.
the
it's
roller
like
coaster
the
one,
meme
for
where-
example.
I like the one where Patrick is like, he's like trying to build something, but like he's got the hammer and he's like nailed the board to his head. Like,
Yeah, good
It's
one.
one of the most memed cartoons, I think. It's definitely of all the Nicktoons, definitely by far.
mocking SpongeBob is pretty good.
It is. All right, Ark. Wait, no, we did it. That was honorable mentions.
I think we're at number
Yay, good
ones.
We're at
job.
number ones.
They're number ones.
Did it.
Which means Brian.
All right. So who can guess my number one?
I bet it's.
I mean, I can, but it doesn't count.
it's Chrono Trigger.
Somehow it's Chrono Trigger.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Or some kind of ninja.
The music of
Uh,
I mean, you mentioned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles already, so
Street
it's not
Fighter.
that.
Sonic.
Street
Mega Man.
Fighter is an anime.
Street Sharks. No, actually, I would say
It's
one
been
of the
mentioned.
Oh, it's been mentioned. Okay, so it's not Sonic.
Yep.
Street Fighter
It's
V
not
Alpha.
Sonic.
It's not Sonic, which was very
Avatar.
That's still anime.
good.
Not anime. Or not Avatar.
Is it Korra?
No.
No. Okay.
Bob's.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
sure.
actually very close to the image that was used too. But my number one is Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, you
Blue
found
Knight.
the one with
Noah
the
got
lightning
it.
bolt. Yeah, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I just took out the night sky and put my blue in there. So Batman the Animated Series, I didn't say a lot when Ian was talking about it because I know I can just gush about this show. It is arguably the best version of the Joker, even better than Heath Ledger. It's probably the most comics accurate depiction of Batman as like the world's most brilliant detective. And he's also like, it kind of like shed a light for a lot of people the first time, his like ninja background. He was just really smart. God, it's such a good show.
It is.
You guys already talked about like how it touches upon like deep things, like his relationships with the all the villains. Like he's got one of the best rogues galleries in the world, and this show will definitely took great advantage of it and made them all fit into that that style that is like quasi stuck in the 30s, but still modern. And I remember when Batman Forever came out and Jim Carrey was playing the Riddler, I was really upset because that is his version of the Riddler was basically the Joker, but the Riddler was very different in the animated series, and the Riddler was very smart, but would still get,
A little goofy.
yeah, he would get a little goofy, but he would still get outsmarted by Batman because Batman's so freaking smart. Yeah, it's a freaking great show, and you should just watch it.
Yeah.
He's a ninja. Batman is a ninja.
And he's he is really, I swear when they made up the character back in the 30s or whenever they invented Batman for Detective Comics, they were like, what if we had a detective who was a ninja, but also a bat in New York? And this is where they landed. This is the movies. Yeah, actually, pretty much all of the movies, including the 2 Tim Burton great ones, and especially the 3 Christopher Nolan ones, they do not touch on him being a detective, really.
Yeah.
They just show him being a vigilante who works with the cops and is incredibly rich.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of movies where they actually go through his deductive reasoning and give him like a bit of a Sherlocky moment here or there, but not like they do in the show.
Yeah. He's fantastic. Like, and there would always be like clever things like, how'd you escape that explosion? There was nowhere to hide, and you didn't get out the window. You were in the room. How did you escape? It's like, oh, I hid in the safe.
Yeah.
And then I just lasered my way out after.
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
Yeah. And just smart. No, there's also like one episode I always remember is there's one where Harley Quinn gets released on parole and she's trying to like reform her life, and it kind of like touches upon like the struggles of poverty and like how people end up in the same cycles all the time because she's trying to live a regular life, but she's just maladjusted, and she winds up falling back into her same rhythms and patterns and stuff. It was a very interesting episode for its time, I think. But yeah, great legacy. As you already said, like the Joker is not funny, but he thinks he's funny. And Mark Hamill's another arguably the best Joker. So, yeah.
Is that even arguable, though, really? I mean, I guess it kind of is, but he's just...
Heath Ledger was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that's true.
Heath Ledger, I maintain, was just very good at being unsettling. There's just a lot of lip-licking. There we go.
Lick-lipping?
No, yeah, there's just a lot of... He was very good. He had a great screen presence. Can't deny that.
Yeah.
But I think he was just good at being unsettling and being like making you wonder what he was gonna do next because you really couldn't tell. Yeah. Hamill did that and more.
Yeah, I think the best would be like a mixer of the two, like somewhat gritty, but like also clearly insane, but animated.
Mm,
Maybe not literally animated, but like
animated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Physical.
yeah, without being Cesar Romero cheesy. But yeah, anyway, we've already talked a bunch about this, so let's move on to Mel. What's your number one?
My number one has also been mentioned.
It's Powerpuff Girls.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. There are animated sequences in Chrono Trigger that are really good.
There are.
No,
Yes.
it's Powerpuff Girls just because that's like it was like I was obsessed with it. Brian knows. I had like
Yeah, it's unfair.
my room got painted 3 different colors. I had like the Powerpuff Girl bed spread and like plates and toys and just everything I could get that was Powerpuff Girls. I was obsessed with it. It was so fun. And I just like it was shows like that that had like a really fun, as Ark mentioned, like sort of geometric style that like that was when I was young. I was really figuring out that like, oh, they're just like drawing shapes and then adding facial features on them and stuff, like really basic shapes, so like that they can animate them easier and stuff like that. And it got me thinking more about animation. And that show was the first show I feel like I really remember thinking about that more like critically. Just really good and just so funny too. So many good jokes. And I feel like I don't know if it's actually true, but in Venture Brothers, they have that character who you just see like her body and you don't see her face, and apparently she's like hideous or something. But I feel like I don't know which came first, but like it looks so much like the mayor's secretary that I was like, there's no way, there's no connection there, you know. And Powerpuff Girls is just so excellent. I love it. A lot of references to them. I never watched the new stuff though.
It sounds like
I haven't
that's
heard.
fine.
Oh, and then the new stuff that's supposed to come out sounds absolutely
Yeah.
horrific.
Yeah.
Like it's like Bubbles is like a OnlyFans person now. I don't even know.
Well, they're like, there was the leaked script, allegedly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want this to be real because it's horrible. And
Yeah.
then the tweets got taken down with a specific notice about it being a copyright request. I'm like, oh,
Mm.
one,
Bad.
I've never seen that type of tweet take down, but here it is. And 2, those reasons. Okay,
Yeah, and the dialogue was so
bad.
Nobody says those things. It's like clearly like old people trying to write what they think young people are saying, and it's really bad.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just, hello, fellow kids.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's very accurate.
So yeah, worried about that content, but the original Powerpuff Girls. Yeah.
So good.
Classic. And it was what made me follow everything Craig McCracken did after that. So like he did Foster's Home, he did Wander Over Yonder,
Foster's.
which I didn't love as much. And the new one is Kid Cosmic, which is also really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched that one. That's another Netflix situation. But it's
Yeah, I have Netflix but no Hulu or Disney.
that's
can
okay
only
because
afford
all the
one.
good animated stuff is. I mean, Disney does good animated stuff, I guess, but Netflix.
DuckTales.
Yeah. Well, all the
Dells.
Cartoon Network stuff is like on
Dells.
Hulu.
Yeah.
So I'm missing out on that because I can't rewatch it really easily.
Yeah, this sort of shows like the danger of reboots. Because on the one hand, we have really good stuff like She-Ra and the new DuckTales. Like, obviously they're reboots. They just are. There's no disguising it. But we end up with some stuff like the new Powerpuff Girls. It's just like, okay, no, maybe we should leave some properties alone and make some new ones.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, so the thing I really hated from the start of them talking about the new Powerpuff Girls as a live action is like the whole premise is that they're like angsty about their lives as kids and how it like change, like now that they're grown up they like wish they hadn't had that life. And I'm like, why are you trying to erase the entire premise of the original material by saying like, oh, they hated themselves during that time?
They hated being
Yeah.
kids superheroes who loved it.
Yeah, that's basically what the premises, I guess, and I'm like, that's dumb because you're basically trying to like erase their history, which is the original material, which is the best thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Sounds like they're trying to Riverdale it.
Mm.
Oh god. Riverdale's really weird because he like has an affair with his teacher, right? But like, do you remember what the teacher in the comics looks like? She's
She's a
like
pedo.
60. Yeah. Very old
Yeah.
dope. It's like a Harold and Maude situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
All right, so my number
Well,
one then.
Yeah. Do we get to guess? Except for Ark.
No. Feel free to guess. Absolutely guess.
Do you have a guess, Mel? I have one.
Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars. It's a very
Oh.
good guess. Good,
I think
good alley.
it's Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Also a good guess.
Or,
It's a very good guess.
Space Ghost?
Ghost
Bob-
Ghost?
No, this
Just
is
Bob's Burgers again.
You tricked us. Has it been mentioned already?
Yes, it has. It has been mentioned already.
SpongeBob.
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. Do-do-do-do.
Okay.
You
So-
get caught up in the.
I will
Angry
preface.
Beavers.
Oh fuck. All right, so I will preface this.
Is
I will
it Doug?
Forgot one, didn't you?
No,
I
it's
will-
Rocco.
I will preface this by adding 2 honorable mentions because I somehow friggin' forgot these 2 shows. A, Angry Beavers. God damn it, that was a great show.
That's one that I watched again as an adult. It's still held up.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm glad I did this.
it was just such a good show. Richard Horvitz and Nick Bakay are just a great pair for that. It's amazing. It's just so good. Then there's like an episode of it where you never see it on screen, but they're dealing with a loogie hawk. It's just a bird that flies around off screen and is constantly coating the woods with phlegm. As it's coughing on everything. And the beavers get tired of it and they capture it, and they take the loogie hawk and all of its phlegm to Flanders, where it can live with the flamingos. And they come back home and the woods start falling apart. Their dam starts falling apart. Everything's falling apart. And they're like, Nick Bakay as Norbert is like, oh no! The loogie hawk's lung butter was what was holding this world together. And it just stuck with me.
Yeah, I remember
Gross.
wondering if that was like actually Nathan Hale or something because of the way that the voice acting was. It's like that same like
Nope.
drama and it's so good.
No, it's the same dude who voiced Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
That's probably where
Oh,
I
wait.
recognize that
Yep.
voice.
Yep.
Oh, and that's where like cover your ears up, they'll eat your brain,
Brain?
or whatever.
The
They
bad,
liked the bad horror movies.
the bad
yeah.
B movies that they watched, which were
Oh,
beautifully
yeah.
animated, despite the fact they were badly shot. And you got El Grapadura, my favorite for Lucha Libre to this day. So I regret not.
It's a good
I
one.
regret not adding Angry Beavers to at least my honorable mentions. That probably would have knocked Looney Tunes off the spot had I remembered. And I also regret not picking Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which in my
That
opinion
was on my short list.
is the best show that Adult Swim has ever made. No argument. Like, I will accept no argument. Even though it is based on Space Ghost and The Brack Show and and C Lab. It's based on that entire premise, but done again.
I think because we watched it during our tender formative years in high school, it is one of the pieces of media we quote most in this household.
Absolutely. No, I like
In here, get
like all of the Phil Ken
spatial
7
relationships.
Yeah, every time I'm trying to put my keys in the door in the dark, I'm like, all right, 1, 2, 3, spatial relationships. Here we go. Just and just it's
The training video that kept teasing how Phil lost his eye.
and didn't reveal it.
Yep.
And he grew the mustache to hide the scar. And yeah, like one of our and the classic, like, I'm not a what? I'm not a veterinarian, but I do have this whip. like there's just it's so quotable to us. Just Phil, like, that was the show that really showed me what Stephen Colbert can do as an actor. And really hitched
Having
me
said
onto
that-
train. Having said that, my actual favorite show, which has been mentioned before, is The Dragon Prince.
Oh, right. Why didn't I guess that? Dang it.
Like we mentioned before, it's a show that I will marathon and then marathon again immediately
marry.
after. It's to the point where, yeah, we watch it and we've picked the show apart so much that, like, yeah, most of the third season to us is like, how'd they do this? How did Viren march an army all halfway across a continent faster than two people could walk? Like, how does that? Where's
The
Yeah,
timeline
what-
is weird. The
what
timeline
kinda-
is weird, but
what kind of baggage train does he have? Even with stopping, like, my God. I know he's a wizard, but damn. Like, there's, and granted, this is stuff that, yeah, you wouldn't really notice or pick apart unless you've watched it 50 times. But the fact
Like,
is,
I call bullshit.
the fact is, like, I don't know a property that I've watched this often and picked apart this much and don't hate.
In the most loving way possible.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, to quote my favorite franchise ever, Star Wars. Like, I can't, like, I enjoyed watching The Rise of Skywalker in the theater. Like, it's like, while we were watching it the first time, I liked it.
Same.
Every time I've watched it since, I like it less
It's
and
worse.
less and less
Yep.
every single time. It's just a downward spiral, so I kind of stopped watching it in the event that I need to watch it again, just to save that one last time. Like, yeah, if my niece wants to watch through all the Star Wars movies, I gotta do it. Like, I gotta enjoy it all the way through.
Oh, yeah, we got to introduce her to a Star Wars.
We do. We gotta.
She's too young for it still.
Well, yeah, right now she's like 2, so no.
She little.
So, yeah, not too young to realize that hands just get lopped off left and right. That's the way of the world. It's
Yeah. But you can just rebuild them with a robot hand.
Exactly.
We show her Star Wars, and then she can't sleep for a week because she's worried about losing her hand to a space laser.
Left and right hands. Yeah, just stubs.
We're terrible
Stubs.
Losing
with
her
kids.
onto a Jabba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the fact is, The Dragon Prince, I'll probably watch it again tonight. You know what? When we're done this, I'll probably fire it up and watch it.
definitely,
And,
yeah.
and I'm gonna love it.
I'm watching it right now. It's up on the other screen.
And we pan this way to the TV. No, there's nothing on the TV. But
Yeah,
but-
I definitely feel like I want to put something on the background now and have it be one of these shows we talked about.
right.
Supercut.
But yeah, like, there's the thing that gets me is I love, like we talked about, the lore and the world building in the show that we've seen so far, and we've still only gotten a piece of it. Like, we know what one of the 5 human kingdoms is like. We really don't know crap about the other 4. We haven't even met all of the peoples that make up the elven races. Like, there's 2 that we haven't really met yet. One we haven't met at all, and the other we've met one, and he's a megalomaniacal sociopath.
Yeah, he's locked in a tower.
Yeah, so, like, probably not the best example.
Or is the
Or is
best
he?
example?
Are all the star-touched elves dicks? We don't know. We'll have to find out.
That whole like learning about that character, like, just so cool.
And
Yeah, the slow reveal.
just the way that they deal with the villains in the show. Like Viren is set up to be a bad guy basically right off the bat, but his downward spiral makes sense,
Yeah.
and it's not exactly compelling because he's a dick to his kids, but like at the same
Well,
time, it's just like I get why this works.
the
Yeah.
scene in the dungeon where he
He gaslights
gets
his
Claudia.
son.
Yeah, he gets Claudia to gaslight Soren.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
it's just holy crap!
Yeah.
What the hell? This is really good writing. This is brutal though, and I hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Really good job.
yeah,
And like the poor like kids that are just like they're trusting their parent.
yeah.
And like it's just
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
it's-
well written.
Yeah, it's just Uncle Viren. Why wouldn't I trust him? Like
I will admit that like it's 3 seasons, right?
so far.
Right now.
Yep.
I think in the 3rd season I started to like zone out of it a little bit just because I felt like the whole like traveling, or maybe it was the 2nd season. There's like a lot of traveling going on, and I got kind of like, all right,
Yeah,
when is
the
more
show-
gonna happen?
There's a lot of traveling in the 2nd season. The 2nd season
Yeah.
is mostly traveling. The 3rd
Yeah, and that's-
season would be mostly traveling, but they had to skip a bunch.
Right. Well, yeah, it confused me because I thought that like the attack at the beginning of season 1, I thought was like we go tonight. And then they like get there and then there's like an invasion and then it's like, okay, we're going to the same place and it takes us
The rest of the season.
like a week to get there.
Yeah.
Or whatever. A week in like their time, but like it's like episodes and episodes long and I'm like, wait, how did they get there so fast the first time?
Yeah, it's kind of inconsistent.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the 3rd season, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I gotta rewatch it now because like I love the way it ends.
hmm
Yeah, it's good.
It's so
Yeah.
good. I'm so looking forward to another 3 seasons of this show.
I want to see more King Ezrin.
Yeah, that was
I want to see more than 5 consecutive minutes of King
Like-
That's what
Ezrin.
I mean. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like
There was so much
pumped.
to go into there, and that in particular is why I think that season 3 was kind of a
was
fairly
a
rushed
rush.
attempt at
Mm.
closing some of the storylines out,
yeah.
or at least leaving them in a place where it would have been okay for them to not pick it back up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
all-
such a good character for like
Yeah.
being a little boy.
Yeah, and I love that like his superpower is empathy. Like
Yeah.
Right.
very Steven Universe in that way, I guess. But yeah, like it's awesome.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
like all of my problems with the show are just areas where I want more. Like
Yeah.
like it's not like, oh, this was a dumb decision, why'd they do that? It's just like yeah, give me more King Ezrin. Give me more Archmage Claudia. Like give me more good guy Soren. Like this
Yeah.
is the stuff that I want. But they just didn't have time to do it.
Yeah, we're starting to get like see them reach their like maximum like level, kind
Mhm.
of. You know what I mean?
Yes. And
I want
Just-
more.
the writing is so good and the timing in the show is so amazing. Like there's a moment in the show when like Rayla and Callum they're dating and they make it sort of Facebook official when they kiss in front of Ezrin when they thought they were gonna die. And Ezrin's like, wait, that wasn't part of the spell. And
Yeah.
like teenagers, he's like, well, we did this and now this is a thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Ezrin stares at them for a minute, being like 12, and he's like, what is this? Oh, I know what this means.
Yeah.
And you actually see Bait, the glow toad, actually get it a second before Ezrin does. An amphibian.
Yeah. Well, and you also see that he ends up like you're like, wait, he can do stuff too. Like
Yeah.
he's just like Ezra's pet, and you're like, oh shit.
No, he's actually handy to have
useful.
around. Yeah, it's such a good show. It's definitely, I love all the shows that I've talked about tonight, and most of the shows that y'all have talked about, but Dragon Prince.
Yeah, good choice.
All right, Ark, bring us home.
All right. Where are we going home to? We're going home to we to get there. We've got to go over the Garden Wall.
Yeah, so good.
This is my favorite animated series at the moment.
I
Probably.
thought this was going to be on Mel's list too.
I honestly I forgot about it.
Ah!
Many shows. It is so good.
But yeah, nice tidy little mini series about two brothers who get lost in not space, some other dimension, kind of, sort of,
Mhm.
and a frog.
We don't really know where they get lost.
I love it. Yeah, it is just a good it's another one of those character driven things. Like it's all about these kids and their travels and the people they meet and just the stuff they're going through.
Yeah.
Wirt is an angsty little nerd, and that resonates with me.
Yeah.
And it's just
Me
it's like
too.
that's a mood. That there, angsty awkward nerd.
I quote that show a lot, probably more than I quote most cartoons. Because I say
Okay.
like, I came to burgle your dirt. And like, ain't that just the way? Like sometimes I say that. We talk about potatoes and molasses at work a lot because we're like, none of us have tried it, but we bet it would be pretty good actually. I went to a backyard rap show
Mm.
and one of the guys like performing did a couple of lines about potatoes and molasses and animals in a school, and I was like, oh, I know that reference.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, it's really good. Good music too.
yeah, and the stylization of the characters is great. Goes back to that kind of basic shapes, geometric sort of thing.
Oh my god, the Greg dreaming episode, and it like they're talking about like it's like the happy land, and then it cuts to that grumpy cloud.
Yep.
That one shot of just that face. So good. It's like got some like very comedic, almost like SpongeBob-y moments to it like that. Very good.
Yeah, it's very and I like that it calls back to a lot of classic animation stuff too, and it's like general aesthetic.
Yeah,
Um,
and like the part where Greg is like, "It's time to grow up," and he like walks hand in hand away with the beat, and that always makes me cry.
Yeah.
Ah, so good.
What was it? The second episode. That's where it got truly hooked. Like they go to the town with the pumpkin people.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
it's
it's
just-
not your time yet, and you're like,
Yeah, it's just so ominous. I love it.
Yeah.
And then like and then Wirt thinks they're digging a grave.
yeah.
He
No.
puts that together.
They're exhuming a grave.
Yeah, it's fine. It's different. Like yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love the way it like kind of it's like kind of feeding you a trope, and then it turns it on its head that way because you're like, oh, that's definitely haunted, and you're like, oh no, it's like happy and fun, and they're bringing the skeletons together.
It's just a skeleton harvest festival. It's fine. They haven't seen their friends in a while.
Well, and even
Well-
the primary plot of the show, like with the beast and the huntsman, and how Wirt figures it out in the end, is just such a great slow build in bits and pieces throughout the whole show. So good.
Yeah,
Jason Burker.
and it's kind of genius too because like the way that they like they do that twist on like, oh, they make you think something's gonna happen and then they do something else, and like the whole time Greg is not buying the thing they're trying to feed you, so then it like forces you to start trusting Greg more. So like you end up loving him. It's so good.
Yeah, it very much takes the viewer kind of on the same journey as Wirt is going through with that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like his little brother. His little brother's very annoying, and I think that a lot of people watching the show would probably share that opinion. And then they warm up to him as Wirt does. Like, yeah, Greg's pretty great.
So good.
Greg's been right the whole time.
Greg did nothing wrong.
The auntie episode always makes me cry too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Auntie
Where she's
Whispers.
like, "You won't need me anymore." Like,
Yeah.
I
Now
didn't
that
think
you're
I'd
not
cry
a-
over this scary person.
Yeah, now that you're not a terrible soul-sucking monster anymore.
Yeah.
Such
Yep.
a good show.
All right.
So, yeah.
Are we gonna tally up our guesses?
Yeah, how many predictions did we get?
So I got 3 for Mel. The only
Okay.
one I didn't get was Over the Garden Wall.
Okay.
I only got 1 for Ark because I guess Agretzko and Bob's Burgers was going to be on there, but only Dragon Prince was. And I got 1 for Ian.
Agretzko's an anime.
Yeah, I would have put it on there. Probably, maybe.
Oh,
it was.
does it-
I
it is-
considered it,
it's
but it's an anime.
Sanrio.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I figured anything on Netflix was going to be open season, but I guess that wouldn't have worked.
So much anime
So-
on Netflix.
So I've got 5 total
Okay.
because Harvey Burb,
Harvey Burb.
we retconned it
Burb.
onto Ian's
We did.
list, but I'm
We
not
did.
going to count it.
I mean, I should have counted it. I just somehow forgot the only TV show that I've watched as much as The Dragon Prince.
So am I getting a point for it?
I was yeah. I mean, I'm controlling
that's
this. I'm
6.
controlling the scoreboard, so I might as well.
Sweet. I got 6.
All right, so I got 3. Let's see, what did I get? I predicted that 2 people. I didn't know which 2, but I'd say at least 2 were gonna have Steven Universe. I predicted that there were gonna be at least 3 Nicktoons represented.
hmm
And Brian almost took care of that himself. And then that there were going to be that Ark and I were going to have 3 shared items across our lists, though I didn't know which ones or what rank, but I figured we were going to pick 3 of the same thing. So yeah. So those are my 3
Nice.
points.
I don't even know if I got. Well, okay, so I guessed. I kind of. So I know what Brian has watched, but I guess I didn't know. I didn't have any idea what Brian would pick for top 5 because I was like, I know what you've seen, but I didn't know what you actually like had as favorites or how you would like deduce them. So I thought Powerpuff Girls might be on your list. Because we used to watch it together. And then I thought for Ark, I put Dragon Prince. So it's 1 point. I also put Angry Beavers because I thought I remembered you both loving that show.
I mean,
Yep.
you're right.
You're not wrong.
We do. I just forgot about it, and I don't
I
know
just
what other
remember
excuses.
you yelling about it a lot.
I love it so much I forgot about it. Yeah, like we did yell about it a lot when we rediscovered it in college.
Yeah, I
Then
feel
we were
like I
just like, that
remember
was fun.
that. Like, posting and drawing it and like stuff like
There was
that. all
fan
the
art.
time.
Yeah.
Yep. And I also put down that, and now I feel stupid. I thought that Bob's Burgers would show up on 3 lists, but technically it's not even on one of. It's not even on mine.
That
Because
is
it's on my
true.
honorable mention, so that was kind of a stupid thing.
But that still counts, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
still
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
counts.
we're counting that. So okay, yeah.
Okay, well, I said that Steven Universe, Avatar, and Bob's would all show up on at least 3 lists,
Okay.
but
yeah,
I was wrong.
yeah, Avatar and yeah, Steven Universe didn't actually. Yeah, none of them hit all 3, but all
Yeah.
3 were represented on 2.
Right, so that doesn't really count. So I didn't get a lot of points. I think I got 2. Yeah, I got 2 points. I like that you put
Ark,
3
did you have any
for 3 as a
predictions?
note.
Yeah, well, all of my predictions came true. I only made 3 predictions, so low bar. But
Yeah, we're not going by percentage, are we?
I mean, we can.
I was gonna say I'm 0
No,
for 0.
I don't-
If I want
like,
if I want to win, then we can. Not that winning
No, I
matters in any way here.
I'm ahead right now, so I want to keep that rule going.
I didn't actually make any predictions.
All right.
Because I'm an anxious
Okay.
person on a stream.
But
Yeah,
you
no,
also-
I couldn't think of any good predictions to make. Given
Right.
given my meta knowledge of the situation.
Right, yeah. You could have been like, yeah, I definitely came up with all of these exact predictions before
That's
you
true.
gave me them.
Yeah,
That's
just like
true.
exact placements. Yeah.
How did I know?
Oh.
I even in the email, I don't know if you noticed that I like when I shared the folder I have of the images, I was like, maybe they don't even want the list. So I like hit enter a bunch of times so the list would show up like
Oh.
further down the email in case you like were trying not to see it and you just wanted the files. But then I was like, well, how would they input the picture into
Yeah, I have to
the thing?
view
Yeah.
the file to make
You
it
have
work.
to look at it. Yeah. So whoops.
Yeah. One
I
of
tried.
one of us
Thanks.
has to have meta knowledge.
And that's okay.
Yeah. If Ark's not on the stream, if it's a topic that they're not into, then it's fine. Because then no one on the stream has any idea. It's kind of nice, but yeah, it's still
Yeah,
still
I
fun.
don't get to really make predictions, but I can make cool TVs with things in them. That's what I live
Like-
for.
So Ark's prediction score is anxious.
Yes.
Yes, anxiety.
Yep.
100 anxious.
Hmm.
I did it.
So
So we're all.
is there a
winners.
conversion table for
The anxiety conversion table.
It's actually it's just like a pi-like number that doesn't end.
It's a negative number.
Yeah, I gotta get lots of points next time to make up for this.
Yeah.
Or you could put just like X. Or no, that's I guess what you're using as a point. I was like,
There's
it
an
could-
X in anxious.
There is.
No, it could be like an algebraic, like
Like a.
Hmm.
an A. What's it called? An integer, whatever. No,
Oh.
I'm gonna say
when you
sweat
have like
emoji, but
X,
you can't do
Y, or
that.
A and B, what are those called?
Variable.
Yeah, those are
Variable.
variables,
Yeah, you could just enter
Yeah.
a letter as for anxious. It's variable.
Solve for anxious.
Yeah,
Put it in parentheses. Raise it to the
solve
second
A
power.
for anxious.
Ugh. Math.
Sweet.
Yeah. That was fantastic.
So it looks like I win.
Yeah, you win.
Yeah, you do win. You do win on predictions. Congratulations.
I would like my prize to be more points on your channel so I can use them
I can't
for D&D.
I can't give points.
You gotta earn the points.
I honestly don't think
No.
I can throw points at people. I don't think it's something we're able to do.
Find a way.
Hack the
Oh.
Twitch.
I
Wait,
want
do you
rerolls
use
in
points?
D&D.
For the
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah, we have rewards.
Yeah, we have as you watch the channel.
D&D?
Yeah, we have two options. We technically have three on stream options. The first is for 1,000 channel points, 1,000 signals. These you get to make us do esports arms if you cash in 1,000. If you cash in 5,000, you get to disagree officially with the DM's decision or outcome of a thing.
Oh.
Which has some caveats on it.
I mean, you can disagree all day, but is it acted upon? We don't know.
I don't know. So it's a way to like sort of, especially on something that doesn't require a roll. But it's a nice way to disagree with like a house ruling. If I make a house ruling and they can just be like, no, that's not how it works. Be like, okay,
Ah,
you
I
know.
see.
to force it. Not that particular manner hasn't wrapped up that much because usually we'll just talk it out at the table. It's fine, but still, it's an option. The one that has seen the most use is for 10,000 channel points, forced inspiration, where they basically just make another roll happen, either for themselves, for another person, for an enemy. It's either imposed advantage or disadvantage, depending on the situation. most of the time the players have used that themselves to re-roll and not die.
Wow. All right.
But yeah, watch our channel and you can affect what happens in the game. Yeah, I mean you could technically use those on this stream as well on 5-hit list, but I mean we're not
Just
rolling
use
any
them on
dice.
Sean.
So yeah.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Your
Yeah.
number one is wrong.
Yeah, if you want to veto, yeah, spend 5,000 channel points and you can veto a choice.
Yeah, Dragon Prince off. Put Harvey Birdman up there.
But yeah,
So wait, you said you and Ark were gonna have 3 of the same. You only have 2 of the same.
she had Bob's Burgers on honorable mention. So yeah, Bob's Burgers, Dragon Prince, and
Or I did. Wait.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, no,
wait.
That's
Bob's
Mel.
Burgers
Wait.
did not place for me.
oh, so I didn't get 3 for
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
tied with Mel.
Percentage wise, you lose. You're down to 66%.
The number of the beast.
Number no.
Order 66. I win even more.
Wait, someone losing more means you win more?
Yes, I win harder.
Yeah, technically.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Okay.
All right. But yeah.
This is like the longest one we've ever done.
Yeah, this one we had stuff to talk about this
Yeah.
time.
Well, we
Yeah,
kept
it's good
forgetting
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my number one took twice as long as it usually does. For a
Even
for
though
a
we had
repeat
already
entry.
talked about
Yeah.
it. Let me tell you about the Dragon Prince.
the
Yeah,
fact
that was like
is,
a 20-minute monologue.
we had like a good amount of consensus on these shows because it's obvious that we've all watched most of the 20 plus shows that we talked about, at least a little bit, and we all liked most of them. Actually,
Yeah.
I'd say all of them to some extent. Like
I think Mel's got the most obscure ones for me because I haven't seen Hilda or City of Ghosts.
yeah, I haven't
but-
seen
Yeah.
City of Ghosts.
Or Kipo.
Oh,
Kipo's real good.
keep us-
It's pretty short too. Like not a ton of episodes. They told the story they wanted to tell.
and Scarlet Man. So good.
So
Okay.
yeah. So watch all of these shows.
Yan,
All of
Do
them.
it.
yan, yan.
Get just get one streaming service at a time. Spread it out. Get all your Netflix shows in, then your Disney Plus shows in, and then whatever the Nickelodeon ones are on. Some of them are on Hulu, some of them aren't.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll figure it out.
This episode is sponsored by every cable
Every
channel
streaming
of all time.
Yeah.
And every streaming platform, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a fun last question before we sign off.
Oh.
If you were to immediately, right after we sign off, start watching one of these shows, which one would you start watching?
Hilda.
I already
I
said
think
it.
Ian Arkin says Dragon Prince.
Yeah, I already said it's gonna be the Dragon
It's already,
Prince.
it's already happening.
Yeah,
Like,
like, where's my actually?
Dragon Prince, Hilda, Mel?
I'm so ready to watch Hilda right now.
I think I would watch Futurama out of these.
Uh-huh.
But the one I haven't seen yet that I'm going to watch next is probably DuckTales.
Oh yeah.
Good choice.
yep, it's very fun.
good choice.
Yeah.
I heard
Just saying.
Bluey. Bluey is also really good. That's on New
Yeah,
Disney.
Noah mentioned that in chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Um,
one. It's a bit of it's sort of like an Australian Blues Clues, from what I
Mhm.
understand. But I also understand it's very good. Like I think it won like a BAFTA or something. Like it's pretty up there.
Are you putting on Dragon Prince right now?
No,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
All right, well, let's sign off because I got to go to bed.
Yeah, it's late. Thanks everyone.
Alright.
I got to
yeah,
work
thank you.
tomorrow.
It's fun.
All right.
All right.
Yes, thanks for our guests.
Yes. Thanks to Mel and
Oh,
Ark
thank you.
for joining us again.
It-
This was great. We will be back next time with another topic that we will decide on because yet again we forgot to decide on a guest and a topic so we could announce it now.
Correct. We're good at this.
We're very good at this. We're good at doing the rest of the show, except this part. But
Right.
I do hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that you'll watch us next time in 2 weeks when we do another episode of 5 Hit List. Sounds like we may be back on for D&D on Monday as well. So come watch us do the adventure of the Tomb of Annihilation on 5th edition D&D on Monday night at 7:30. But until then, hope everybody has a nice night and a nice time. Good night. All right.